But jeez, man, this is a freaking internet just sucks out here, man.
No,
This is
nope. Yeah, I
this
would
is
have been like, I want to speak to every manager you can to fix this shit. I'm not playing with you. Ain't no fucking way. Or reduce my bill. Reduce it then.
You know how hard it is to get in contact with a manager.
I
Yo,
don't care.
yo,
Give
man,
him a
I'm a,
credit.
I'm gonna send you to the sales department, and then
I
they send
don't.
you to the sales department.
I listen.
Hey,
You're going to
you,
fix it.
you need to go to the billing department. Okay, cool. And then they send you over to the billing.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know why they sent you here. You need to go to the sales department. Okay.
So, well, then I would get a reduction of my bill. No, I mean, this is no way around it. Ain't no way I'm paying money for some shitty ass anything. You give me a credit every fucking month. Every month you give me a credit until you fix this shit.
True.
And you can sit there and show them like, yo, this is running off of like fucking 10 megabits and I'm paying for 1,000. We need you to
Yeah.
fix it
Yeah, I
or
could do
give me a
that.
credit.
Give me that motherfucking credit, man. All right, let me
The
tweet this shit.
problem, well, the problem here is that you are paying. Well, you're paying for us. It's affecting the shit that you're doing.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do, man. About uh what you call it? Maybe getting a reduction on the monthly fee.
If you guys can't provide it, then you need to pay me back my money. Like I need to speak to a manager and make sure it's there, a manager.
Okay, sure. Well, let me send you to the billing department. Okay, cool.
Excuses, excuses, excuses. Getting a
Billing
little tired
department.
of your broken primitive.
Billing department. Why did they send you here? Let me send you to the sales department.
I'll be like, why are you sending me to yourselves? That's you sound like you sound like a regular customer, man. Hey, man, I don't know what happened. Why you making me pay all this money and it never works?
Hey, yo, bitch, give me some internet. Yo,
I love it.
there was this one dude, man, who, at the call center job, right? That they literally, this guy called in so many times and he cursed out so many representatives that they had to block his number like 5 different times because he used a different number every single time, and they knew exactly who he was, man.
At your
And
job, at the other
yeah,
one.
yeah. And then when he called in, they sent out an email to everybody that was like, you guys, if you get this guy, just read the script or whatever, right? And then just hang up the phone. That's it. They said don't engage with him anymore, nothing. And it was funny because I got the guy. I didn't know who he was, right? Um, I didn't even realize that they had sent out the email to everybody, right? So I just answered the phone like any regular, like any regular customer, right? And he seemed regular to me, he was just chill. I'm like, how can I help you, whatever. And he was like, yeah, I just want to accept the offer. I'm like, okay, sure. And then I sent them over, and then bro, like literally like a before I even hung up the phone, I had like 4 different managers right behind me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they were like, did you just get this customer? I'm like, yeah, why? And they were like, yo, that guy cursed out like fucking 15 different representatives, man. They even sent out an email not to answer the phone. I'm like, really? I'm like, no, he seemed regular to me. But
I
yeah,
actually got a call this week from my kid's school, automated thing saying they had to call the cops because there was some possible threat or some shit that someone sent in the email or some shit. Like people be
oh,
wild.
what was it, like a bomb threat or something?
They don't tell you. Cops had to come out and investigate though.
Ooh, shit. Damn, that's not.
They could be like someone said that someone said that someone said. They take it that serious though, so
I mean, when you're talking about the lives of someone's kid, then I would definitely take it serious, for sure.
yeah. They
Absolutely.
don't really give you a whole lot of information. They just tell you the cops had to be called because of something. They're pretty vague about it, unless it's like they think it's an imminent threat.
Yeah. Well, I think we've kind of talked enough. We can go ahead and get into these little topics, man. Josh, which one do you want to go with first, man?
Yeah, it's up to you, dude.
Oh shit. All right. Well, all right, cool. So I guess we'll just start with was the PS5 worth it? Now, it's been a year since the PS5 has been out. And I know a lot of people have been talking about this, and they've kind of been giving like their little 2 cents on, like whether or not they feel like the PS5 was worth the purchase, or just kind of the whole thing with the PS5. Um, so I figured it'd be interesting for us to talk about it. Um, what do I think? I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious, personally. You know, as a matter of fact,
Apparently, there's no games for the holiday season.
They haven't had a game in the holiday seasons without a console launch since 2001. It was Siphon Filter 3.
see, I don't get that argument though, man.
It's
Because
been that way for 20 years.
well, here's the thing that I don't.
They always
understand.
launch games when there's no games. They try to do that on purpose. They don't get in the way of Call of Duty and Battlefield and Assassin's Creed and all that shit. That's like third-party time to eat,
Well, see,
A lot of shit got delayed this year, though. But
this is what doesn't make sense to me about that whole thing, man. Because everybody keeps saying, not everybody, select few, but some people are saying that the PS5 doesn't have any games for the holiday season, right? Um, but then they say that Microsoft had a great year. You know what I'm saying?
It did.
Because what they're doing is they're just relegating the conversation strictly to first party, right? And if you're going to say that Sony doesn't have anything coming out this holiday season as far as first party, which is true, they don't, um, then you can't really say that Microsoft had a great year because they haven't really had a lot of first party games coming out, So if you want to go by first party, then you have to keep that shit consistent. But if you want to go by what all of the
exclusive content.
yeah, exclusive content or fucking I hate this term, but console exclusive content, um, then Sony definitely has something coming out this holiday season. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand the criticism. You know what I mean?
I don't
It's
know. They
just
never have anything coming out holiday season. That's why I don't understand why this year's any different. The reason they did last year is because of a console launch. That's the only time they release anything past like October 7th or October
yeah,
16th, something like that. That's as late as they go
Oh, hold
because
on,
they don't want to
wait,
get
wait.
into that.
Can I just pause this conversation really quickly?
yes, sir.
Jeremy,
Yes.
why when you type in Discord, man, that shit is incoherent as hell.
I don't know. I'm an incoherent person.
If then join 8 o'clock free. What?
I don't know. You got half the time I'm dealing with kids, so
So what are you wrestling kids and typing at the same time?
yeah, pretty much. Or
Dude,
grabbing them,
wrestling is
snatching them up
demons.
by their underwear.
Jesus Christ, man.
You do what you got to do.
Bro, that married life, bro. I don't know, man.
It's
Yeah.
not marriage; it's children. Children ruin everything.
Well, I mean, don't most marriages have kids though?
Yeah, but everything's good once they move out.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you still got like what, like 15 years, bro?
Yeah, I do. I do. Like
Shit.
my life's more stressful because I don't get to see my wife that often, so it's like I pass it on to her. Then it's like, yo, you got to get this shit done. Watch them do that. You know what I mean? And it's like they're on their own. And then when she's gone, it's vice versa.
Yeah.
Like we went to Venom last night because it was fucking downpouring rain. Like I'm not standing out trying to shoot something and be fucking soaked down to my nuts in water. I'm not doing it. I'm not gutting a deer drenched. You know what I mean? If
Did
I
you
do
like the
shoot
movie?
something. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Better question. Why the heck were you gutting a deer in the first place?
Oh, if I shot something. I didn't go out last night.
He's white. That's fine.
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah." Yo, he didn't even like it.
I'll be out in the stand tomorrow
Damn, that's crazy. But yeah, bro.
though. I could have shot one yesterday, but I'm not shooting something up the ass. That just does not end up well.
Honestly, man, I actually wanted to go hunting. To be honest with you, man, it or I wanted to at least try it out. You know what I'm saying? Once.
You got to go
Good
with someone that
fly.
knows what they're doing, because if you're gonna gut a deer and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna fuck up the meat. Because you're gonna get guts and piss and all kinds of shit all over it, and it's not gonna be any good.
Yeah, I heard that if you shoot a deer, like while it's running, I'm sure you could verify this, but if you shoot a deer or even any animal while it's running, it actually makes the meat like taste more wild, I guess. Um, I don't.
It can stiffen up or whatever, but you just don't want to shoot in the or in the guts area. You want to
Yeah.
shoot in the heart or the neck.
Mm. I don't know, man. Ever since when I was little, man. I've always had like, not that I hated, hunting, but I never really liked the idea of, you know, shooting an innocent animal, basically. But that's just I mean, as I grew older, man, I was just like, bro, that's just the nature, bro.
Something's gonna eat
That's
it
just like,
anyways.
yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, pretty much.
When I shoot to kill too. Usually a deer don't go more than a few feet, so it's over in seconds. It's better than a wolf tearing it in half or something.
You know what
Yeah,
gets me?
wild dogs will
Yeah, well,
tear
wild
you
dogs
up.
will
Wild.
fucking fuck up the animal, or they get caught in fences and shit, or hit by cars. That's what usually happens if they get overpopulated. A lot of the fucking cars fuck them up, and then they
You know,
sit there. 3 years ago, I had to call a cop because I didn't want to shoot on the road, and I wanted to let somebody know a deer got hit, and that fucker was sitting there with all fucking legs all fucked up. It would have survived for 2 days like that, suffering. So, cop came out there and fucking put it down.
you know what
Succotash.
You know what gets me about that though, and like I said, I didn't really know much about hunting at all until I ran into some guys, who did it, and they kind of explained some of the process to me, and they were like, "What you guys do, or what they do, is they basically gain the trust of the deer, you know, by feeding them and stuff like that, you
You're
know."
not supposed to do that. That's
That's
illegal
what
where I'm from.
well, it's not illegal here.
It's called baiting here, and it's very illegal here. You could lose all your shit. They could take your vehicle for that.
Yeah, yeah, they that's what they do out here, man. Like they'll bait the
I don't
deers
know
and
about
stuff like
your
that.
state, but here that is really, really illegal. You can do that with bear, because your odds of a bear walking by your stand aren't really good. So you have baiting season, and only so many bear are taken, depending on what you can take for animals is based upon the population of the area that you hunt in.
So the only thing that I know about the law when it comes to hunting out here is that, like you have different seasons that you can hunt the animals, and they have different seasons for different animals. So they have
Yep,
like
and
a hunting season.
they have a different limit on per animal that's based off population. It fluctuates.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have like different seasons for different weapons. So they have like a hunting rifle
Yeah,
season, they
there's
have a bow
bow,
season.
there's gun, and then there's muzzleloader.
Yeah. So, but as far as like baiting the animal, that as far as I know out here isn't illegal. Because they do it all
That's
the
illegal
time.
here.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people do it out here too. It's just not. It's not legal.
Yeah. Make sure that. But
It's not worth the risk to me. I'm not losing my fucking vehicle, my gun, and my hunting privileges for a decade over that shit.
yeah, I don't blame you, bro.
Why can't you bait?
Because it's basically like you're basically trading an animal to come to you. You know.
You're
Oh,
tricking me.
damn.
You're
Was
yeah,
it?
basically, yeah. You're not
Yeah,
really
They're gonna eat
hunting
it.
it. You're basically fucking taming it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like feeding a dog, like a wild dog coming up to your porch, or you feeding a dog and then shooting the thing. You know what I mean? If a wild dog came into your yard, if you feed the motherfucker and you shoot it, it's like you're not shooting it for coming into your yard. You know what I mean? You've been feeding
yeah,
the motherfucker trying to get it over to your house.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
And the crazy thing is that like for months too. Like it's not even just like for a couple of weeks. Like they'll do it for months throughout the entire year. That's why that shit is so
Yeah,
expensive.
so that deer's gonna keep coming back to you're giving it's an unfair advantage because that deer is just used to going to that spot every day, no issues, you know.
Yeah, and they trust you, and then one day you're just you shoot them, It's
Yeah.
just, it's like kind of fucked. It's like low key fucked up, but
Yeah, it's like these people that go out to trophy places and you can walk up to the deer and pet it, but you go out and shoot it and then yeah, look what I got. It's like you could have fed that fucking thing out of your hand. That doesn't count.
yeah, yeah, that shit's fucked up,
That's
man.
fucked up.
Yeah, it is really fucked up, but But yeah, man, let's get talk about this PS5, man. What did you guys think, man? Because I think it's pretty obvious, man. I think you know, for the most part, I think the PS5 has been pretty consistent throughout the year. I think they've been you know, I think they've provided plenty of content. You know what I'm saying? And all the people who keep saying that Sony doesn't have much coming out this holiday season, I mean, they're pretty much trying to operate on their own like little narrative. So it really doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if you think about it, man, like the freaking console launched with a shit ton of content. You know what I'm saying? And even all the way up until, well, I mean, if you want to count first party, all the way up until when Ratchet came out, and then after that, the latest game was Kana. Um, and obviously all of the games in between. So um, it's just been a lot, man. And the hardware is pretty good. So I mean, honestly, I would even go as far as to say that they've offered the best in terms of content throughout the first year of the consoles launching. Personally,
Now, let's not be the fanboy.
I would say that. I mean, I think that they've offered the best content. You know, and I think they've been the most consistent. Personally,
Hmm.
There's been something coming out regularly up until what, October? September was crazy. I'm still trying to catch up from September.
What
well,
happened
actually,
in
You had
September?
Kenna and Deathloop and Fist, and I think there was one other thing too.
Real
Can't remember
fist.
off the top of my head. I love Fist. Shut up.
yeah, Fist came out, I believe. What was that? September,
Yeah,
and
it was
then
it was like Fist, and then Tales of Rise came out right after that. That's why I'm just starting that now. I'm just catching up on that.
yeah, it's just a lot, man. Like I'm
Yeah, it's
still
been
like,
too much. I want to play Guardians too, and that came out a few weeks ago, and I got to start that after Tales. So it's gonna be fucking. I'm not even looking at Call of Duty right now, so I
bro.
got too much
Honestly,
on my list.
it's been too much to be honest with you, man.
It
Because
has.
it really has. Like
September, I Deathloop. I haven't even looked at that yet because I got there was so much shit in September. I was like, yo, I can only. It's kind of like what I'm looking at for spring. Like I can't play all this.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not really that interested in Deathloop. You know what I'm saying? I don't even care the fact that it's a quote unquote console timed exclusive or whatever the hell. The game just doesn't look. I mean, when I read the interview, I mean not the interviews, but the like the blog posts about Deathloop, it sounded cool. You know what I'm saying? I like the way that that it like it sounded like it would be gameplay wise. They were talking about like the multiplayer and the being able to kind of like take out the enemies with this other live player like trying to mess you up, like what I'm saying. It was pretty cool, what I'm saying. But I like the idea of it. But when I look at the gameplay, it just, I don't know, man. It just doesn't interest me personally. You know, it just looks like really boring. But that's just me, man. I don't. But then again, I don't really like first person shooter style games for
I
the
used
most
to
part.
like them, but they've gotten to like I don't really play COD no more because after like Black Ops 2, I was like, yo, I've been doing this every year for. That's why I'm kind of excited for to see what Deviation's working on because Call of Duty developers with the freedom to make something new really intrigues me.
I agree.
I like
Um,
Titanfall though. Like if Titanfall 3 comes out, I'm getting that day one though. That'll
Damn
be a
oh
whole
boy.
yeah,
new different thing.
yo, Titanfall was actually fun though. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah,
to
I
you,
know.
man.
I found
Yeah,
I stumbled onto Titanfall 2 too late. Like
Yeah, but
it
you
was
like
already
you
kind of.
like Zelda, so I mean,
Who said that? I don't like Zelda.
no, he's
My
talking
kids
about
play
me.
Zelda.
That's because the
Oh,
game's fucking good. That's why.
hmm?
You know what, man? Next time you come out, man, I'm gonna fucking show you all the shit that you could do in the game because you just don't know. You just don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna point out all the
you
things. You
can
like, you
cook
just on
eggs.
me.
You can cook eggs on rocks in that game.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Why are you mad for?
Go on.
Yo, Ken Levin.
Is he dead?
Hello. See, the internet. I'm sure of it. It's the internet. What about you, Jeremy? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Take over.
We live in a simulation.
Who's that light skin?
Yeah, it's
Nelson, you done fed? What the fuck is that?
Yo, how is there two Kens? Oh, there goes one.
Oh, so he's trying to connect. That's what he's doing. You know. So yeah, is the PlayStation 5 worth it? With all the stuff that
Don't ask me
I
that.
see. I mean, we already know, man. You like weird shit anyway, like fall and shit. So
We're talking about PlayStation, sir.
the fuck likes fall. Who wants fall? Who wanted that?
Well, God, nigga, what you mean?
I'm talking about on Earth.
Right. God, what do you mean?
You talk about the people that's on Earth.
Oh.
That dirty season, Anyway,
This nigga
no,
here.
that season is a travesty, man. Throw that
Nope.
season in.
Best time of the year.
No, thank you.
One of the
No, thank
shift
you.
leads pissed me off like 30 minutes ago. She's a bitch.
You can't say that and be God's people.
Yo,
Well,
I'm suspended off Facebook for that. I can't even reply. Some people have been like, "Oh, Happy Veterans Day." I'm like, I can't reply. I'm suspended.
Why are you suspended?
I called
why
someone
you
a
have
bitch.
Facebook is a question, Nelson.
He's
Family.
fucking old.
I'm old.
There you
Family. Honestly.
go. That dude
That
sidestepped
boy
that.
said Facebook.
What up, boys?
Facebook.
What's going on?
Let me tell you the
Family.
story.
Plato?
So basically, I was watching
What
Project
up,
E with
Josh?
my coworker. What the fuck is that?
Yeah,
Plato's here.
yeah.
Oh,
He's got that weird ass thing that he's been using as his.
look at his
Picture.
profile pic.
What you talking
Yeah, I
about?
know. It's
Yo, don't be hating my man. Fuck you, all right?
I just think it's funny. I just know when it's you when you post.
Josh,
Well,
I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you my story, bro.
Go on with the story.
So I'm introducing my coworker to Project E for the first time. We're
Oh, that
cupping up some
sinful
salt.
game.
Huh?
That sinful game.
Correct.
Correct.
And he's just in awe, because it's his first. Excuse me, it's the beer. It's his first time seeing it, and it's slow as hell at work today, man. And we're cupping up, some salsa, and we're still working. Like we're not stopping what we're doing. Like we're still working. And then the shift lead comes in, and she's like, "I'm not trying to be a B, but you guys should be working." I'm like, "I am.
Well,
I'm just
I
watching
mean,
a
I know you're.
video." Like,
I'm like, I know you're not trying to be a B, but you're succeeding at it. Can you please get away?
Hey, yo,
Thanks.
Nelson.
Yeah.
and the
Yo,
worst part is she's younger than me, so it's like, bro, like, who are you? Like, she's just like,
who are you? Don't play down with me. Hey, yo, Nelson.
Yeah.
Yo, how did that hunting stuff go for you the other day? I saw you post that picture on Twitter, bro.
I only went out one day because it started raining last night.
interrupting my
I'm heading
story,
out
Fatal.
like in an hour.
I know.
Right
Damn.
back up there.
Damn.
Well, I'm just saying.
Tripe, you
So-
just saying. I'm just saying. Fuck your
I'm
You're
just
story.
saying
saying.
what?
Shut the
How's
fuck up.
your
Go ahead.
hood?
Go on with your story.
Fatal,
I could've
fuck your story.
I could have shot one, but I don't take shoots unless I don't take a shot unless it's gonna die immediately.
Nobody cares about me anyway, so.
Hey, we gotta get back on track. Listen, all right, finish your story. We gotta go back on a subject at hand. All
Nah,
you
go
niggas
ahead.
slide in there on some
Nah, go
shit
ahead.
that
My
has
girl
nothing
about
to
to
do with
call
the
anyway,
PlayStation.
so.
No, so you saying what happened with the girl?
No, she was, how like your superior's having a shitty day or she's on her fucking period or something. They're just fucking weird, man. I don't know, like,
I gotta be period.
and she's one of those people who think they know what they're doing, but they have no fucking
Sexist
clue what they're
bitch.
doing. Like,
That's annoying.
I can run that place by myself, so it's like when I correct her on shit, she gets upset. I'm like, okay, I've been doing this way longer than you have, so I don't know. She's just fucking weird, man.
It's the ego, man. Like
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people don't want to be told shit anymore.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
It's not a characteristic of a lady either
Yeah, I know.
to be like that. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
But go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
just wanted to say that.
wasting my time. Shit.
This nigga said, "What the fuck they got to do with me, nigga?"
Yeah, man, what the fuck?
Man. So we've had this discussion before about what the fuck happened with Ken, yo. Let me see. Did he send a text message?
I think it's your internet's messed up, probably.
No, he's here now. I just saw him join.
He ain't saying nothing.
Ken, get your shit together, brother.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, nigga.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Oh,
See? And then he's looking at
What
me
up,
like,
Ken?
why you gotta go crazy?
Okay, so
Hmm?
it wasn't the internet, man. It was
Or
the
was it
fucking
not the internet?
no, it was not. It was the app. It was the fucking shit on my phone, man.
I'll be back.
Is it
'Cause
recording?
No. Yeah, it's recording. Yeah, that's not the problem. It's my fucking phone, man. Like I was trying to just jump back in, but the fucking shit kept kicking me out, and I could hear you guys. Like I was hearing you guys the whole time. I just couldn't say anything because it kept glitching. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man?
That fucking porn on his phone. All right, you guys hear that? Say no to porn.
I love watching porn.
Thank you
You
for the
can stream
image.
that shit now. You don't have to download it to your phone anymore.
I don't. What do you think? I stream all the fucking time?
Niggas! I don't want to think about it like that. I just think about his fucking Fatal and where he's at with his thumb and index finger, trying to light a match. Just
Yo, shit. Just you fucking motherfucker.
so you hear. Anyway, so we had this discussion before about the PlayStation 5 being worth it to be, it's a new generation, and there's some people out there. I mean, you may think it's easy to come up with that answer and say that, right? I mean, well, who cares? You know what I mean? I think it's worth it. But there's some people that think that in general, like, why even get it now? Why get a PS5 now? Like, what are you playing? And honestly, just off of the strength of it running your games really, really nicely. Just the
Loading
basic
times.
games.
Oh my god, I hate loading times now. Oh my god.
Yo, bro, those loading
That's-
times kill me, dude.
Yo, anytime I play a PlayStation 4 game on patch now, I'm like, yo, are we gonna do this shit today or fucking tomorrow? I got shit to do.
especially if you play Red Dead Redemption, yo.
I did.
Oh,
I just recently
man.
replayed that. I played it on both consoles.
Man,
Xbox
you know what? I'm not even going to say that.
right. But let me. Okay, so Fado is going to talk about how excellent it was on Game Pass. He didn't have to worry about it loading.
What Game Pass?
Whatever the hell you're going to say. I don't know. You're going to say something.
Bitch.
Man, okay.
Fatal, you already know you already know you want to do it, bro. Just get it out, man.
Just get it out the way.
Just get it out. Just get it out, man. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be okay. Then I'll say what I'm going to say. Red Dead 2 has better animations than The Last of Us Part 2. There, I said it.
I'm actually gonna pick up Ash.
This nigga, yo.
Bro, he stopped talking. I was going to figure
Yo, I almost didn't even want to fucking respond to that shit, bro.
No, the funny thing is he's being deadly serious. He's not playing. He ain't playing. Man, you about to get ripped, man.
He has better animations than what he cut out.
He
Oh,
said,
he
he
can.
said,
What he said was it had so much fallacy, man. It cut it out for his own good.
I said Red Dead Redemption 2 has better animations than The Last of Us Part fucking duh.
I didn't think animations were, but I enjoyed both very much.
Which one?
I played
which
all of it.
animation?
Which animation are you referring to?
I dragged a bitch into a pond and had an alligator.
I'm talking about all the
eat it.
animations.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, Josh doesn't like The Last of Us Part 2 anyway, so
Yeah, but
No, I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't. And
I won't say that.
I loved
I
it.
won't say
I
that.
disagree with his. I mean, I agree with it. I can get from his perspective, but again, out of respect for him, I'm not going to bring it up in topic. Moving on.
why the fuck did you why the fuck did you
somehow
bring it
he
up in the
brought
first
it up
place?
anyway.
Why did you bring it up in the first place? Nah, see, now you gotta take that smoke.
Son of a fucking bitch!
Nah, now you gotta take that smoke.
No,
No,
all the smokes.
no. I didn't initiate or me by me saying that to start a conversation about The Last of Crust Part 2, okay? No. I'm just merely stating a fucking fact about when it comes to animation quality and shit. Okay? Like, dude, when you have to go that far into detail of being realistic to the point where you gotta make a fucking horse's nutsack shrink when you're in the cold, well,
Is
that's
that
next level fuckery.
Is that what the reason why you think it looks better?
Wait, is this also coming from
No.
Fatal?
I'm not talking about graphical fidelity here.
Did you
I'm talking
measure
about
that?
from an animation standpoint.
Wait,
That's
Fatal.
it's not the same.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is this?
no, you saying that it actually shrinks, which means that it's animated.
Yeah, they do.
Which means that
That's
your
what I'm
whole
saying. It's
argument,
animation.
your whole argument is based off of testicles. Being a male.
Show me another game that has a horse testicles that fucking shrink like that. I'll wait.
So I just find it interesting. That's all.
No, I'm just fucking kidding, dude.
I don't know about you just kidding about it. It didn't seem like it though. And
Yo, he said that with a lot of conviction. I don't know, man.
I was like, yo, I guess I didn't
see, that's
pay
why
that
I
close
should
of
be a fucking
attention.
actor, bro. I should be a fucking actor.
You should be, man.
Nobody's stopping you.
Well, the only person that's stopping me is myself. That's me being lazy.
I get it.
Bro, I was gonna say, you judging the what you call it, animation quality. Is this coming from the same Fatal who still plays 2-bit games, man?
I still play 2-bit games.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm just saying.
No,
Me and my kids are playing fucking Galaga.
There's a personal agenda behind that. I don't appreciate that, Ken.
The vast majority of your gaming portfolio is fucking bit and 2D. Like,
well, yeah, man. I mean, shit. Why not? Why not have that nostalgia factor of going back in the time periods, man, when gaming was actually good? Just saying.
standards. Is this about budget?
Fuck budgets, man. The hell's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, it's about budgets.
Bitch, I'm gonna bitch smack the fuck out of you.
You call me a nigger.
No, oh my man, get back to the regular topics,
Okay, there we go. So, I mean, people are going to say that the PS5 is not worth it. You know, that's what they're going to say. They're going to say that it's not worth it. There's no point of having it. It's playing the same old games that you've already played before. Why even buy this console? It's $500. It's $400. I can't find it anywhere. I'll stick to my PS4. I'll buy a PC. I'm going to discount the DualSense. It's overhyped. It's overrated. The 3D audio. I could get Dolby. I have a 3D Pulse headset. I really don't need that. You know, the loading times. You act like seconds really mean anything. Who cares? And all the other fucking shit. Go back to driving on horse and buggy and get the fuck out of here. Now, my answer
I will, sir.
For me, in terms of is it worth it? If you're techie, yeah, maybe. I mean, honestly, the technology is about like why people get phones every year. Like why did people get an iPhone 13? As if it's so much better than iPhone 12. You know, some people just fucking want to be cutting edge. Now, Ken, what was your agenda for this particular topic?
To basically critique, you know, the PS5 since the launch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you're saying, how is it worth it now?
Yeah, or you know, was it worth it from the initial investment of purchasing it when you first got it at launch? You know, and throughout the year. I mean, because a lot of people did purchase the PS5 throughout the year, and you know, a lot of people are just now getting to it right now, which is great for the people who are getting it now, man, because they're just now being able to have access to some of the stuff, some of the PS5 games, after a whole year. So, but I guess this is really more so a question posed for, people who were like the first early adopters from day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, was the PS5 really worth the investment or purchase? Since a year ago, November. I don't even remember the day that it launched. It was like November
13th.
Yeah.
I
So
don't remember.
I don't either. It was something like that. It was like right around this time last year. So
It was 2 days before, so I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, and your take on it was what?
um my personal take on it is pretty obvious, man. I think it was definitely worth the purchase, you know. Um I mean, like I said, I would even go as far as to say that I think that they had the best output this year. I mean, not well, when I say year, I mean the year from the launch until now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about 2021 like everybody likes to relegate the conversation to, but I feel like throughout the entirety of the first like year since the launch, I think they've had the best output in games. Um, you know, but I mean, I guess it really does depend though, on like your own personal perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who are calling like the DualSense a gimmick, and the SSDs, you know what I'm saying, the SSD was a lie, and you know Astrobot was a demo, and Ratchet and Clank was a 5 hour piece of trash, or you know what I'm saying, Demon Souls was just a remake. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like for people who are saying stuff like that. I mean, what can you really tell them? You know what I'm saying?
I
Well,
can't wait for that Dead Space remake. Just an FYI.
We're going to talk about that later.
yeah, just to jump in there for a second, I was going to say an overlooked feature that people seem to just
I
never.
apologize. I'm so sorry. What was your name again? I can't see you. I just want to address you by your name.
Oh, Amadeus. XLO
Amadeus.
Amadeus is a nigga. Yeah. I
All
was
right,
going to say
thank you.
one feature that people seem to forget that to me is the real game changer of the PS5. Forget the DualSense, forget the new games. It's the fact that you can download so quick. Like I've downloaded
Yeah, you
games
can.
like
It's
the
fast.
patches, yeah, like patches and like if you're playing Call of Duty and anything, that's like a 50 gigabyte patch here and there, but it's so fast. Like there's times where I literally just took my dog downstairs to let him do his business, came back up, a game's installed. I'm like no one mentions that. Not to mention, I mean, you have the fact that you're just loading into games a lot quicker. So when people talk about whether or not it's worth is relative, but it's like how much time do you just want to like play a game? Like, I just want to sit down and play a game. I don't want to look at a loading screen. I don't want to wait for some install before I can play the game. I just want to play the game. And when you're in your mid-30s like I am, that means a lot. Okay.
We all in our
I
mid.
don't-
Well, not Ken, I guess, but
Yeah,
most of us are in our
Hey,
mid
hey,
30s.
hey.
What? I'm just saying the rest of us are old. The fuck? Ain't no brag.
he's still sperm.
Hey, you know what? So I think I am starting to get old though, man. Some chick was like, she was like, "Oh my God, you're too old for me." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Was she 14 or what?
Man,
No,
shit,
actually,
I wish I had a girl at least come up to me and say that to my fucking face. Shit.
bro,
Yeah, my general rule of thumb is if she doesn't know what BBM is, she's too old. She's too young. That's it. Simple as that.
Shit, I don't even know what is that.
Are you serious? You know
Shut
what
up,
BBM
Josh.
is?
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
I'm being serious. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Does anyone want to tell him? Does no one else know what BBM is? BlackBerry Messenger. That's where you get all your dirt at.
uh,
Yeah, trust me, man. You got
I'm
yeah.
gonna,
That's what.
I'm
See,
gonna,
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
gonna be
If you
honest.
don't know what that is, then she's too young.
I don't. I'm
You threw me a curveball on
well.
that one.
Ken didn't know what it is, and he's 27. So
Bro, she's 19. You know what I'm saying? But like I said,
jailbait. I'm sorry.
no, when I talked to her, man, she seemed cool. You know what I'm saying? Like she was a cool person. Like, I didn't have a problem with her. You know what I'm saying? And then after I had like got her number and everything, she was just. As a matter of fact, she asked me how old I was first. She was like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, and it's funny because my birthday just passed like a week ago. When I first started talking to her, I was 26. So, and then like as I was, my birthday passed, I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna be honest. Like I was 26 like about a week ago. I'm 27 now, but whatever, nigga." but, um, but she was like 27, damn. And I asked her how old she was, and she was like, I'm 19. I'm like, oh shit, damn, you fucking younger than I thought. but
I mean, ultimately, like, I don't think that. Look, you're still young. That's all to say.
I mean, it was like I said, man. She was just like, because she hit me up and she was just like, I've been thinking about you a lot, and she was like, I like you, but you're a little too old for me. And I'm like, okay.
You should have showed her wads of cash, man. She would have instantly be like, "Well, I can make some concessions."
Yeah, I know, bro. You already know. I showed you that shit, man. It's just like I was like, okay, and then that was it. I left it just like that.
But getting back on the topic, it is very interesting to hear like worth. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it be. Even when people talk about Game Pass stuff, I don't know why that's a thing to be brought up. It is kind of frustrating because you see something with a lot of value, and people like, I don't like that at all. I don't want nothing, no parts of that. And you're like you're left scratching your head, like really? And then and then you catch them like in dumbass shit that's like super like it just looks cheap, And I think me and Fatal got into it before when he was like, it doesn't matter, how much you pay for it. Value is something that you can't really assess. And I mean, it's
I
hard to
guess
say.
I guess it depends on how you look at it, man.
What do
You
you
wanted to
mean?
say something, man. I'm a
Oh
dead.
yeah,
No.
I was gonna say, see, if you go up with CDs, paying for something actually does make a difference because the amount of music I listen to and how I even consume music is way different now that I have access to pretty much anything and everything versus when you only had you get to buy a CD. Like if I had to buy a CD, like with $20 something like that, I listen to the whole damn thing. I do it backwards and forwards, etc. When you like with Game Pass, it kind of cheapens. Like it kind of makes
You got it. You
games
got
seem a
an
little bit more.
investment.
Yeah, like it doesn't have the same hook. It's different. It's kind of like when with the PSN free games. It's like I'll download all those games. I don't think I've touched any of them, like for the most part. Because like if I wanted to play it, I would have bought it already.
You're the same kind of person that I am because honestly, like people, the reason why I
Fucking
bought
frauds.
PSN, the reason why I bought PSN, right, is literally for the discounts on the store. Like I do like to own my games. I like to own my games. I like to purchase my games. It's not necessarily about support, but it's a certain investment and a certain type of, I don't want to say obligation, but it's like now I got to stick with it. You know what I mean? Because I purchased it.
Well,
At
you
the
have
very
Right,
least, it looks.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now now I gotta find something to like about this shit. Because if I didn't, it's a whole waste of money. You ever go to a store and you order something and they didn't do it right, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm already fuck it, I mean, let me where's the? I remember one time I ordered a what was it? A fish. What do you call it? Filet of fish from McDonald's, right? And I was hungry. I go all the way back home. This bitch, it was nothing but the buns and the fucking patty. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, where's the ketchup, man? I don't.
Ketchup on
Let
a
me show.
fucking fish sandwich. You put tartar sauce on a fish sandwich. What the fuck are you doing?
Man, I
What are
didn't
you
have
doing?
tartar sauce. I had tartar
Source that
sauce.
I'm awkward.
Shit, I try to jazz it up with whatever the fuck I had, yo. But like, yeah, when it comes to it's put a little pepper on there, you know, sprinkle some hickory on it. You know, you can't do that, guys. But you can't put hickory on shit. But
Jay had to go all out. Fucking John had to go all out. Put his herbs and spices into that motherfucker, dude.
but it is curious though, like how people can sit there and say that. I mean, the loading times, and like you said, it respects your time. I mean, you buy a game, and like for me, this is my experience with the PS5. To me, the controller is what it is. The controller, the loading times. I mean, we can't even really say anything about games nowadays because that's in flux. It's very hard to kind of figure out what's going on.
That's taboo, man. Can't talk about that.
No, you can't talk about games, man. You know, can't say exclusives are like fucking no man's zone at this point in time. So we got to talk about
games.
we can't talk about exclusives. So we got to talk about the actual console itself and what the PS5 gives to me that I didn't get the last generation. It's you know what? It's a quality of life. My games run better. They load faster. You
I can
know,
respect that. I can respect that response.
The sure that wasn't the UI.
Yeah, one thing I like about the PS5 that goes understated is the fact that it feels modern. Like when I got the PS4, and I mean I got again, like, you know, launch week, whatever. Once you started playing a number of games, you kind of felt like it was being a little bit held back. Like when I started to play like the Division, for example, and you see like textures just like popping in, and you kind of already knew at that point, yeah, this is probably what's gonna be like for the rest of the generation. Like, you know, you running around shooting shit, and assets are still loading in, and you know, enemies are like just basically loading into the map or whatever. With the PS5, it feels modern. Like I feel like I'm gonna get a solid, you know, 3 years of at least good gameplay experience. Like I don't feel like there's anything now is going to be held back so much by the hardware and more so like the abilities of the studio behind the product. Whereas with the PS4, I didn't feel like that. I felt like the PS4 itself was hindering my enjoyment of certain games.
you know, there was a narrative going around about the PS4, right? And how shitty the CPU was. Oh, you can't do this. You can't have 60 frames per second because of the CPU. And I'm like, do you know where we came from? Like 70% of the games that were on the market was running at like 15 to 20 frames a second. And we were happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Now everything is like at a solid 30 frames a second, like it's consistent. Everybody, oh, if it slows to 1 frame, I can't see it no more. I almost threw up because it dropped the frame and shit like that. I'm like,
A lot of games were at
That's
62.
funny.
They were just at 1080 max.
especially on PS4, a lot of games were 1080p if you had the base version. And people were like, the CPU was like dragging it down. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I would play, like when I first played Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Beautiful game. You get into the city and you see a whole bunch of people hustling, bustling, right? And you get close to them, right? They, the chicks, they look bald headed. You know what I mean? Like they don't got the hair didn't load yet. You know what I mean? They look fucked up, and then it loads in. It's like, and then you turn around, and the story starts again where they're loading in. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, this ain't it, man. Who's buying? Am I buying?
No, you sound good to me.
Better now.
Nigga, you buying?
Mm-mm.
But he's saying, but yeah, like, and it's a lot of quality of life fixes. You know what I mean? Like when you play the PS5, a lot of loading goes away. One of the games that I liked a lot was Gravity Rush, right? Gravity Rush was it was hammering the PS4 for some reason. I don't know what it was. I had the Pro, and like it was a lot of blurry shit that it was so blurry until you got right up on it, and then it would load all the details. And then I downloaded it into the PS5, and like instantly, none of that shit happened. You know what I mean? Because just the memory structure was really good.
Right.
Also playing, yeah. Go on.
No, I was gonna say like that. That's like the same experience I had with Mad Max and Shadow of Mordor. Like when I load those games up on the PS5, I was like, oh man, this is the experience I should have had years ago. Where like I'm not looking at the game, struggle with itself to keep up when you kind of like, nah, this is like I'm just immersed in the game. I'm not looking at pop-ins and enemies. It's just like loading. It's like that whole thing takes you out of the game.
You'd be
So
surprised. It does. You don't think about it. So
It
does
does.
loading. You walk by something and it doesn't load up, or you know what I'm saying. It's like It's like little curiosities. You know what I mean? Little things that kind of fucks it up. And another thing too, in terms of quality of life, like if people say it's not worth it, The Last of Us Part Two, for instance, which I will go on record on saying I cannot fucking stand that game, but I can acknowledge the technical prowess of the game. At the very least, on PS5, it runs at 60 frames a second, along with Ghost and Horizon and Days Gone. To me, it was worth a replay because the games were
Days
almost.
Gone to me was the biggest improvement. I don't know what it is
Yo,
about that game, but the game looks and runs so goddamn smooth. With that patch, it's unbelievable.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say too, man. When I played Days Gone on the PS4, like I had so many issues with that game, man. Because like, I'm not talking about the game. I'm not talking about the gameplay. I'm talking about like the technical side of it, man. Because like I would walk into like a town and every fucking thing would still be loading. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have a blurry ass texture on the. You know what I'm saying? Everything, all the textures were blurry as shit. You know what I'm saying? The doors would be loading. The fucking hair would be still. The assets, all the assets would still be loading in and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time, as a matter of fact, I think I took a clip of this, man. I was
Did
doing
you
a
play it
mission.
on PS4 or Pro?
I played it on. I played it
Base?
on. No, I actually played it on the PS4 Pro.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
have
I
that
was
many
gonna say,
issues with it.
Yeah, because even still, man, I had issues with that shit. I remember one time, man, I took this clip, and I was I was doing a mission, and then I think I went up like a hill or some shit, and then my fucking bike like shot up like 50 feet in the air.
I used to be so afraid. I don't know if you guys played it. I used to be so afraid of going into those tunnels. You would go through the tunnels, right? And the cars would just load up. And if the car loaded up while you were through it, it would just eject you out the thing and make a crazy loud noise.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
I'm
about. That
sitting,
shit
I'm,
happened to me
I,
too.
I'm sitting there. You can find it on YouTube. You can go to like Days Gone glitches. I'm sitting there. Wow! I was like, oh shit! What the fuck? That's what it felt like. I know it was loud, but I wanted you guys to feel how scared I was when that shit happened. That's exactly what
Man,
it
you
felt.
scared the fucking piss out of me. Now I will change my pants now, motherfucker. Hope you're happy.
That's exactly what it felt like to me, man. It'd be quiet at night. You know what I mean? That shit just blow your fucking ears clean
I was
off your
playing
face.
Days Gone one time, dude, and I went over a fucking ramp in the middle of the night, and a fucking horde, like, my bike never hit the ground, dude. I just, like, went off in the distance, and I disappeared and died. What the fuck? Like, I was like I fucking ran into a herd of cattle, dude, and it just carried me off into death somewhere. No idea what happened. Like, what?
But all in all, I'm sorry. I have trouble with my short-term memory. You would probably think I smoke a lot of weed, and I really don't. The guests that were speaking before,
Should.
no, I ain't gonna do that. Mm-mm. The guest that's in here that's speaking right now, are you still here?
Amadeus, he's here.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm here. Sorry, I ended up referring to me now.
I was going to say, what do you feel? I'll just pass it over to Ken afterwards, or whoever wants to speak about it. Do you feel like it's worth it? Like really
Absolutely,
worth it?
absolutely. It's peace of mind. That's what makes it also worth it. It's peace of mind of having it now and I have to do with scalpers because I got it like day one. But excluding that aspect, it's the fact that when you're at least cyberpunk aside, because that was just some next shit. But for the most part, like when you put a game in, it shouldn't be hindered by performance anymore. Which is why like GTA, which I mean, I don't know, you guys spoke about that yet. It makes no sense why GTA has these issues. It's like this is like a 13-year-old game, at least in the case of
Wait. What GTA are you talking about?
GTA 3.
You talking about the definitive
The
edition?
remastered. Yeah,
It is 20 years old. I just wanted to put that out there.
GTA 3 is 20 years old? God damn, bro.
2002. I just wanted to be clear. 2001
you're
is when
right.
it released.
2000.
Final
Right,
Fantasy
right.
8 was PS1, and the remaster looks better than that shit. I don't want to hear excuses.
Do you okay, Jeremy? Do you have the game?
No, I just watched a video.
All
I'm
right,
not
then
buying that shit.
shut up! Shut it up! Please shut it up.
You
You're
talk shit
totally-
about
yo,
games you don't play
right.
all the time.
Holy
I don't
shit.
I'm gonna explain to you. Actually,
I digress.
I better do it now. I better do it now.
I
So-
mean, if you wanna just go into the, because we've already been on the first topic for an hour, so shit, might as well.
Okay. We're going to the next topic now. But before we move on to the next topic, I totally forgot about this, yo. Just based off of this one thing makes it absolutely worth it. Fucking noise. I said
Oh.
it. This shit
Oh, yeah.
quiet as fuck, man. That Pro and that PS4, I couldn't fucking do broadcast streams ever, man. It was fucking embarrassing, man. It was embarrassing. Like a badass kid you take to a supermarket and screaming and shit. I couldn't do any of that shit. Sitting there, I'm like, hey, it's your boy. The whole time. That's what it sounded like to me. Fuck. Oh my God, that shit was so loud, man. And I remember one time I had the quiet PS4s, right? And I had the shit lying down, and they had this one energy drink called Kickstarter. And I'm sitting there getting my footing right, adjusted my seat, and I kicked that shit over, and that shit spilled inside the PS4. All over the shit. I freaked the fuck out. I turned that shit off. I plugged the whole power out. Make sure that I drained that shit. And ever since then, that bitch was loud as a motherfucker. And then I got the Pro to stop that shit from happening. That shit was the more quiet ones, but it was still loud. This one, it was funny. People were talking about coil whine. I can't take this noise. This is ridiculous. Why do I hear that loud, that quiet hum when I put my ear up on the shell of the PS5? I shouldn't have to hear anything when I lay on my PS5 right now. It should be quiet. Shut your ass up. And moving completely into this fucking GTA remaster or definitive edition, right? I feel like the people that's on Twitter and any other social media is completely out of pocket with their complaints. I want you guys to realize something. People will sit there and talk about, when you redo a game, it's so lazy. Look how lazy it is. I can't believe it. I'm making a video right now as we speak, pointing out the discrepancies in between the two. To shut motherfuckers down, making it right now. But I will say this. No one fucking complained about the 17th Skyrim that did nothing but bump the resolution up and charge you $60. You get an extra grape, an apple. That's all they gave you. It looks the same fucking way. Maybe they put a little bit of higher resolution, the same models that are about 500 polygons per NPC. No one said a motherfucker, and it didn't run well either. But nobody said anything about that. But you know
that
why?
game's never run well.
Well, and nobody gave a fucking complaint. That's my point. You know why everybody's pissed off about this fucking game? It's because Rockstar didn't show you GTA 6. That's why. People are still salty about that shit. When they showed the trailer, you already knew what it was. We saw the ugly ass fucking NPCs in the trailer. Right in it. It was right there. We saw the environments. And all of a sudden, it's a shock that it doesn't look like a fucking remaster. Go on.
I was gonna say, the thing is with Rockstar kind of gets away with a lot of shit that no one else kind of gets away with. Like it's like they really like got some fucking aura over them and some shit because
it's the Nintendo aura where you could just
yeah,
do
it's
whatever
like
you want.
Rockstar's done
It's
all
the
types of
Bethesda aura
stupid-
too.
But
The game don't
Bethesda's-
run. It looks like shit, but we love them because they made Skyrim. Kind of like
No, people.
the game
people
still
check,
don't work.
No, people check the fuck out of what do you call it? Fallout. Fallout,
Yeah.
they checked the shit
Yeah,
out
like
of that game.
Fallout 76.
What
Yeah,
about
they got
4,
hammered on that.
3, Skyrim, fucking?
I'm talking. You saying that they're impervious, and they're not. They got checked. They got checked so badly that they had to make changes. Nintendo, on the other hand, oh, we won't talk about that. But here's the thing, right? Um, you know how long it took Demon Souls to be created? The Demon Souls that's on the PS5. You guys know how long that took? It took about 4 years. 4 years to redo all of the assets in a linear game. In a linear game, every GTA is an open world game that has assets that are 20 years old. It has so little detail, you have to make up the detail because there wasn't enough information. That's the biggest problem. Another thing is, too, they have motion capture, right? For the cutscenes up since GTA 3. And there are points of animations where you can move the polygons and make sure that the jaw is in line. You just can't slap a model and use the same coordinates for the animations, the animation rig. The whole model would get warped, so they can't deviate too much from that original source, or else they would have to do it all over again and find the actors and all other bullshit. And some of the actors don't like Rockstar as it is.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that was a big problem. So as is in the game, they can't deviate too much from it. I don't think people realize how bad the NPCs look in all of the GTAs. And in terms of the art style, the fucking box, the jewel case, the DVD jewel case for GTA 3 was cartoon characters on the front. It was never realistic, ever. Where was this notion that I wanted to look realistic? No one said that shit. But going back to GTA 3, and this is in regard to the subject of nostalgia in general. You know, I don't think you knew. Like, I don't. People are laughing about, look at this character. Oh, you can go through a glass. You know what I'm saying? Which they patched out, by the way. There are a lot of stuff that's in this GTA, and it doesn't run well. Let me be fair. Some of the things that are very important, right? In terms of this remake, it's not the best remake, not because of what you see, but because of what you play. It doesn't run at a stable 60 frames a second, and it
Which
doesn't
is
run
unacceptable.
which is before you go on, and it doesn't run at 4K. Now, that is unacceptable. I will say that if you put the game at the 30 frames per second, which how many games? I mean, okay, if you put the games at 30 frames a second, there is no drops. Now, some of that shit could be patched out, you know what I'm saying, or patched and fixed, just like the whole window thing that they had. But this was a huge undertaking. You can't change the assets too much because then you have to redo all the animations. So you couldn't do that. So if they did leave it as these low polygon models, I want to say this and I'll let you talk. The amount of triangles it took to create the characters in this game was about 1,000 to 3,000 polygons. 3,000 being the main character, right? What we have been experiencing from PS3 onwards was 10,000 polygons plus. You just have to come up with details out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? And all these assets, they had to use AI algorithms to increase the texture work because it's too big of an undertaking. It's an open world game. And each time that they made an open world game in the PS2 era, they had to up the ante. Fucking Vice City was double the size of GTA 3 and Liberty City. And then San Andreas was 5 times the size of Vice City, some shit like that. I mean, it would have taken 15 years to make, realistically.
But see, here's the
I'm
thing, though.
sorry.
The issue with that is
I wouldn't know.
we-
I never
that-
played the GTA games.
is that with this remaster, no one asked for this. So that's the difference. It's one thing if people were clamoring for this, and there was this huge swell of fanfare saying, "Hey, I want to go play with GTA 3 and be Claude and go back." I mean, San Andreas is a little bit different because people haven't want to go back to that. But like, not even with Vice City, so much, right? They didn't actually. No one asked for these games, so for them to give us a shoddy project when you have games like Alan Wake that granted it's not as old, but it's it's recent. Well, yeah, Alan Wake's like what, I think 2010, 2011. And you have like Crisis. Like again, these are games that are quite current, same model being remade, and they you see a noticeable improvement. Does the definitive edition of GTA look better? Yes. However, if you go back to look at their mobile games, which only came out like I think 2-3 years ago, you could tell that they were already trying to push in that direction of probably trying to remake these games. Not necessarily now, because I believe the original idea was to sell these games separately. I guess to like hold us over until some reveal for GTA 6. Who knows? But it's like you can't. Yeah, but it's like you can't just say it's difficult to get this done correctly, and we did the best we could, and you kind of have to just take what we give you. When the reality is, no one asked for this. So
you could.
Let me say this, and I'll turn it over to you. Is that so? In reality, you could have taken as long as you wanted to take to make a better product, because it's not like we weren't anticipating this, we weren't calling for it, so you more or less had all the time you wanted to get this game in better shape. I'll turn it over to you.
So let me ask you a question. What do you have the game?
Say again.
Do you have the game?
Now, I have like on Game Share or whatever. I haven't even bothered because I'm still going from Galaxy to Guardians of the Galaxy, and
that's not to come at you to say that you gotta have the game and stuff like that, which I still strongly believe, regardless of what it is. Like, for instance, Forza. Everyone want to talk about Forza. It was not that good, and they never touched it. I can't say anything about it. I can't say anything. I can't say anything about it because I didn't really play it. I mean, I can say that. Yeah.
I was gonna say, to that argument, that's kind of that whole element of speaking from authority, as in have you experienced it for yourself? No, but none of us here have to put their hands on an open flame to tell you that it's hot. You can look at something and tell if it's quality or not. That's just based on experience.
This is right, but you don't know how. You don't know how.
Josh, do you like dicks in your mouth?
We're not. I'm sidestepping that whole conversation.
Have you ever tried it?
Stop it. You're not derailing my conversation.
Some shit you just know.
Did you just say? Do you like dick?
No, he said dick in the mouth.
Josh does.
So,
what you mean?
shut your pigly ass up.
I take highly offense to that from you making fun of my family, bro. Legit.
Anyway, to answer my question, I want to answer this question in the most purest sense, and we can joke around. I don't really give a fuck. But I will say this: you don't know of what they put into it just by looking at the videos. Like, for instance, people could look at Gran Turismo and be like, "That shit look boring. That's a boring looking game." I mean, I get it. I mean, graphically it looks nice, but you just driving around fucking track and you can't even go anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? And you could say that easily. Problem here is that when you do drive in GTA, you got to take a lot of things into consideration. The rain in this particular case, how the track is twisting and shit like that. All sorts of things that you can't get the other things to it. So my question to you is, what is disappointing about, and I'm not saying it as if like it's rhetorical, what is disappointing in your opinion about GTA remastered?
The caricature of the characters. That's for one.
So the way that the characters look.
Well, I mean, like, I'm sure. Have you guys seen the memes of like all the characters basically came out of like the salon? They got their nails done. Like, all these things are like
there's some glitches. There's some glitches in there, and it doesn't look like that all the time. But I will say this though: compared to the original models, like anything was an improvement. Should it be better? Yeah.
But see that,
But
but
all
again,
right,
you're saying in
but
comparison to the original models. Now,
which was
again, the
20 years
original
ago.
models is based on 20 years ago,
Yeah.
so we would expect some sort of improvement. But
But I thought that you said you weren't expecting anything, though.
no, I'm talking about in terms of like I wasn't expecting big things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Go
I wasn't expecting to be like this shit to be coming out. Like, damn, can we get can we at least get a remake of like GTA London or some shit? But no, what I was saying is that to go back to your earlier point of like you would have to experience it to have a better understanding of your criticisms. I would agree for the most part, except most of us have played these games before. These aren't new games. These aren't wholly new experiences. This is something that I've done before and spent hours and hours, laboring over. So when I see it now, it's like, yeah, sure, it doesn't look as good as it did 20. I mean, sure, it looks better than what it did 20 years ago, but for that time leap, I expect better.
Now you mentioned that you talk about Alan Wake and the other things. They added high resolution textures, right? And
Yeah.
and not it wasn't that much high resolution, so it wasn't that much work done. And it's a linear game. Both of them are. Well, no, it's not Crisis.
Well, no, Crisis One is yeah. I was gonna say Crisis One.
Crisis One was a little bit open, but the most work went into Crisis Two.
It has a greater degree
Crisis
of
One, right? Crisis One and Crisis Three barely had any work done in those games. All they did is up the resolution. Crisis Two was the only one that actually had work put into it. So they just basically ported it over. Crisis One and Three. You can't use those, but the assets were really good in general. You know what I'm saying? But when you take a game that's modern anyway and try to, it already has the modern stuff. There was no parallax occlusion mapping. There was no per vertex shade. I mean, per pixel shaders. There was no shaders at all in the game.
Yeah, but
Back in the day.
right? But that's not really the problem I have with the game. The problem I have with the game is the fact that we're 20 years removed from the original, and you're telling me you can't have a solid product. Like, why do I have to choose between fidelity and quality mode, or sorry, performance mode on a game that's 20 years old? That shouldn't even be.
But you wouldn't know something though. Let me tell you this. The only thing that quality and performance mode does is just unlocks the frame rate. It doesn't even do anything extra. That's all it is.
Right.
If you want the game to be more stable, you put it in quality mode so you don't have to worry about fluctuating frames. It's so if it's performance and the way that the characters look, because you believe that the characters should be, should look better. It's weird because you know what? Back in the day, GTA used to, in my mind's eye, look realistic. You know what I mean? But when you look at it, these motherfuckers have big ass feet, oven catcher's mitts for hands. You know what I'm saying? And their bodies were segmented.
Right. I mean, that's like Super Mario World. I mean, like Super Mario 64. I mean, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like if I think about it, back in the day, what would it look like today? Now there is some stuff online where you have the characters. Somebody took a lot of work into making CJ, Tommy, and Claude look really like look like real fucking people, essentially. What I think is going on is that you could put all your fucking efforts in one character and make that shit look pristine. I guarantee you it took 6 months to make those characters. Every one of them. And they got 3 games to do and about 60 NPCs per game. You know what I'm saying? So like I get it. I understand where everyone's coming from. But at the end of the day, it's a remaster. And I think the trailer was indicative of what you would get in the final game. You saw Vice City. Those characters look like shit in the trailer. And the trailer has great lights. So to me, it's just like I'm baffled at the fact that it's a surprise that's consistent with the entire game. If it's talking about glitches, every fucking game has glitches. You can't sit there and get mad at that. It's not,
Actually,
it's gonna happen.
I do. No. You absolutely can sit there and get mad about that, and people need to sit there and get mad about that and start demanding better.
Well,
I
they
don't
did
believe
three
this whole
games. They did three games, in one and put it out, and they didn't have to. I get it. They bit up more. They bit up more than what they can chew. So I get it. I'm not mad at that, and I'm not saying that people cannot be upset about it. That's not my MO. But overblowing this overblown talk about how like it's shit. How is it shit if it's almost the same exact game from 20 years ago? You didn't have a problem replaying it then. Like I don't know, it's not
well,
shit. It's just
to jump in there for a second, I think the bigger narrative here is that we're comparing Rockstar to Rockstar. We're not comparing Rockstar to some podunk studio that just gives us whatever garbage and we accept it. Rockstar has a
Some
certain
little indie
level of
studio.
right, like Rockstar
but
has
you
a
do
certain level
realize
of
you
prestige.
realize you realize that. I mean, I get it. The publisher is Rockstar at this point, but you do realize that Rockstar didn't make the game, the definitive edition.
Right, right. But
Yo,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's like when you see a Rockstar logo, like it's slapped on there, it's GTA, you immediately think
They should have
Rockstar.
slapped on.
You,
They should
you
have. They
think
should have slapped on Grove Street, whoever the fuck made it. They should have slapped that
right,
everywhere.
exactly
And
because
so people were like, all right, okay, cool.
Fuck that.
exactly.
Why is Rockstar sleeping on Midnight Club?
yo,
Because
guys.
they don't make
Thank
money.
you, my favorite racer.
Hey, guys. Silky's had his hand up for a while, man. Go ahead and say what you want to say, bro.
You should have slid on in. Shit.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was letting y'all finish the conversation. So for me, the bigger standpoint is: do you think this is the art direction moving forward, maybe for GTA 6, where they go with a more cartoony art style instead of a realistic palette?
I wish they would.
Ooh.
I wish they would. You know why I wish they would? To be honest with you. All right. Whoever's busting nuts, I'm gonna need you to mute your mic, please.
My bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I
Yeah,
got real excited when he said that shit about the new GTA. The GTA goes that fucking route, bro, man. I'm
No, I'm
in.
playing.
Because fuck GTA 5. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't like GTA 4. I didn't like GTA
what?
5.
I
I'm
like
glad he
GTA
said
4
San
more than I
Andreas.
like
What's
5.
up?
Let me
5 was
What
a
are your
fucking
criticisms
was
for
a
GTA
misstep.
5 and
Hold
4?
on. So what was my criticism, right? The very fact that they took the arcade nature out of the game just makes I didn't like it. The put in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? I remember the GTA from back in the day, even when it was 2D over the head camera,
Top down view, motherfucker. Get it
top
right.
down too. Shut your ass up. Anyway, so the thing is, you were able to just jump in. I didn't even use keyboard and mouse back in the day, but I was able to just sit down and play it without thinking too much. You know what I mean? The controls were not complicated because it was very arcadey. And the level design was crafted and curated for different playstyles. So let's go back to GTA 3, right? Each island had a theme, right? GTA 3, obviously, I mean, I'm sorry, Portland was a flatter surface, a flatter game, in terms of the surface. But they had some elevation. It was kind of like a mix between, it was hilly and straight elevation. And you couldn't really do too much in it, just enough for you to make turns and stuff like that. It had like little alleyways. It was a little bit more distant patch. The Staten Island had long stretches, so you can have like crazy long chases, right? And then Shoreside Vale had crazy hills. So like you knew what to expect, and they curated the missions based off of the island and what the island had to do. The same thing with Vice City kind of stepped back from there because that whole city was flat. I didn't really like Vice City in terms of level design, but they came back with San Andreas, right? When they made San Andreas, they had it all like they really made those levels like really, really nice. There was one problem with GTA San Andreas. The PS5, or excuse me, PS2 just couldn't handle that game. I would drive and trees would pop up and I would get fucked up there. You couldn't see shit. I couldn't believe the arguments online, by the way, about where's the fog? Well, I'm tired of seeing clean across the map. I want coverage of smog. I don't like the feeling of it because it's covering everything. I'm like, are you asking to cover your environment? Now, LA don't look like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the fuck. It looked like a fucking volcano erupted in San Andreas all the time. And now that they took away or they added draw distance, now people have a problem with it. I think it's people nitpicking. But going back to GTA 6, maybe a pseudo realistic, you know what I'm saying? Cartoony mixture. I would be totally down for. Nothing like Fortnite, like that's too cartoony. A little bit
I
more
think
realistic.
if they went the cartoony route, then that's kind of like going over towards Sleeping Dogs, which
Underrated
like-
game. Last thing I'm gonna say, I gotta go because I'll be listening, but I'm gonna be heading up to gear camp. So that is a criminally underrated game. So is Mad Max. I'm out.
oh yeah, Mad
All right,
Max.
Jeremy, peace out.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Mad Max
playing
is
Mad
actually
Max.
pretty dope.
Great.
Mad Max,
So let me ask you. How do you pronounce your name again? I'm sorry, my bad.
Amadeus.
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 Yeah, it's actually an anagram for something, but yes, Amadeus.
Amadeus. Okay. What would you want? The GTA 6. And listen, whoever had your hand up and created this subject here, feel free to talk. Just interject.
All right, I got
So
you.
here,
We'll stop
so the
talking.
thing with so I was gonna say is the thing with GTA, like the next GTA, I don't think I even want another GTA, and the reason for that is because
I think I know where you're going. I think I know where you're going.
the creative team is fractured. So
They're gone.
there's only one of the. There's, I think Sam's left. If I'm not
No,
mistaken.
he left too. He left too.
So yeah, both of them are gone, right? I thought both of them left. For some reason, I thought maybe Sam stayed.
For a
and
while,
Dan
it was like that. And for a while, it was one person
Right,
left,
yeah.
and then they left.
Right. So it's like if each one of the games was kind of indicative to a period in Americana,
Mm-hmm.
the next game would more likely either have to focus on the early, well, not like the early 2000s. Sorry, like 2010s, I guess, to the last 5 or 6 years. Right?
Current.
Yeah, it got to be current, and it's like
Or,
What
you
would that
already know how
look
that's
like?
going to turn out.
Yeah, what
You
would that look
already
like?
know how that's going
or
to turn out.
go back in the past. Make a Grand Theft or a GTA game that's based in like the fucking 60s or 70s.
No,
Exactly.
Hey, let me pitch this for you. GTA after World War I, during like the Great Depression. And come back from
That
World
would be
War II.
pretty cool.
Oh, you mean
You're robbing
Red
banks,
Dead?
You're
You mean
bootlegging,
Red
all
Dead?
that.
Well, Red Dead is Red Dead. Red Dead is fucking awesome.
Yeah, like for me, I think that would be good,
debatable.
but I don't know if they should go to cartoony route because a big part of GTA is how you dress and how you look. So I mean that's everyone's identity. Like you spend so much time in a barber shop and in stores and like you literally going around killing people, beating up prostitutes to get money just to buy new clothes or change your hair or whatnot. So
And that's
I
fucked
think
up that they added that feature, man.
yeah, I think what they need to do is literally go like even if it doesn't look as good as Watch Dogs, make it look similar, make it open world, change the time period, put it back in the past where crime is more out there and technology isn't. So we don't have to deal with all the cameras and like I don't know. I just think it'd be much better like having Tommy guns and BARs and everything in a GTA game. That would be dope. Dressed like
I
you
think
know like you're in a mafia with top hats and all that. Like come on now, that'd be sick.
they really should do 60s. I ain't gonna lie to you because I have a big old afro. I think they really should do 60s. You know, now, yo, could you imagine? Like, you know how they always have like the theme, and it always is always indicative of the time frame. You know, and it sounds like Shaft when the shit starts off. As soon as they show the rock star or something, you know, and then it goes, you know, and they walk out there, and you're a female character, and you look like Pamela or Pam Grier, and you shoot it like show enough.
Oh, shit,
I
sure
Josh, Josh.
I can see that. That'd be dope.
I want to pose a question to everybody that's in here related to GTA. If I can, do you guys reckon that maybe some people that do play Grand Theft Auto and that adore Grand Theft Auto, I want to word this carefully because I don't want to upset anybody and I don't want to piss anybody off, but just metaphorically wise. You think some people play this shit to get their dark, sadistic fucking fantasies of killing motherfuckers, man, and shit like that? Because that game, you can do a lot of fucked up, crazy shit, man.
I'm gonna tell you, when I first played GTA 3, I honestly felt some kind of way after I ran over my first prostitute.
Okay, fair enough. But what I'm saying is though, like, okay,
I didn't mean it. I was trying. I didn't know how to drive, and she was like, "Leave me alone!" And she jumped in front of the car, and she died. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then all of a sudden, I
well,
backed
why
out,
was she
and
telling you to leave you alone?
because I was driving, and then I covered my mouth, and then the pimp and everybody walked up to her dead body. It was like, "Damn!" And the pimp looked at me, and his purple. He was like, "You was a crazy bitch," and then I ran. Because I thought that the cops was gonna, I thought the cops was gonna find me. I
But
went
you
into
see
an
what I
alley
mean,
and
though,
looked.
right? Like you see what I mean, like from my point, though, right? Because a lot of the stuff you could do with GTA, like you can technically do in real life. And in fact, we've seen so many times of news try to fucking blame Grand Theft
Jack
Auto as the
Thompson.
corporate, right? Yeah, exactly. So that makes me like just makes you want, like makes you wonder, right? It's like I'm sure there's probably are people out there that have like these really weird, fucking dark ass fucking fantasies, dude. Of like what like not like that they're gonna do it, but like what it would be like to be like a murderous fucking killer and shit like that. Because think about it like this, man. When you can get head from a prostitute in a goddamn car and then take that car and drive off a fucking cliff and then you jump the fuck out, like come on, dude.
Hey, Payne,
Yeah,
That was
are you,
like an action movie.
are
Like,
you,
I
are you,
always try to make it.
Am
Yeah,
I
are you
trying?
talking-
Hold on. Before you say what you're about to say, no, because I don't really fuck with Grand Theft Auto like that, and I don't really care for the GTA games like that.
Okay. Yo, can you guys speak up, man?
yeah, no. For me, I think.
hey, look. I'm gonna say I don't really have much to say on this topic because I don't really like the GTA games like that. So, and I didn't really play them, so I don't really. This is all
It's
you guys.
not. Now I'll say this because I wanted to talk about just in general, just nostalgia and how that shit, kind of makes you feel. But in passing, let me see what time it is now. Okay, cool. In passing, um, I don't think, just to answer your question, I definitely don't think that really, it doesn't speak for your psyche. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I was 16 years old and I discovered ghetto gaggers, I watched that shit a lot, but I never wanted to do that shit. I don't know why. I'm just saying, never wanted that. So I don't mean that.
No, hey, no, for me, I think GTA is a way for a lot of people to live a lifestyle they can't live. What I mean by that is you get a lot of suburban kids who enjoy being a gangster. Like, you got a lot of people that enjoy running from the cops and everything on the game. So that's just my personal thought on it. I don't think it's a mental issue, but I think it's like all video games. Like, we play video games to do something we can't do in real life. And the closer they get to realism, like, the better graphics and
Thank you. That's the
fidelity
answer I was looking
is.
for.
Yeah, like, so I do believe, and I'm not a big GTA fan, but I do believe people play it to do something they can't do in real life. My little brother was that way. Like, in
You know what? I you know I'm not gonna lie to you. Now that you mention it, I would play games to kind of like do things that I couldn't do in real life. But now it doesn't mean murder. In this case, in Grand Theft Auto, it's driving fast as shit without getting the ticket. You know what I mean? Without having any consequences and shit. You know, even if you play Wipeout or any of those things, you can't do it. Now my game, everybody knows that they know me on Twitter. My game was Tomb Raider, the old ones. And the reason why I played those is because I would have liked to go to remote locations like, Indian jungles and shit. And if I see a tiger, I wouldn't really die. You know what I mean? I could just, you know, but I will say this, going back to the nostalgia portion of this subject, I'm gonna ask you this question and then I'm gonna jump to different games, right? Is Grand Theft Auto what you think it is? Do you remember Grand Theft Auto clearly back then as you do now? Like,
Yes, I do.
is it really a good game like it was
Now,
back then?
which game are you referring to? Just all of them, or
Let's start with 5.
I think 5 is the greatest game ever created. I don't think people understand So when you were talking about the amounts that you can do in the game earlier about the size and the scope and the scale, it's like, do people forget that you actually have like a portion in that game where you're playing like golf and goddamn Like
Tennis?
I think it's like chess. You're playing darts. It's like those are entire other games. Like that. I think it's a part in the game. Like
Mini
a
games
truck
for sure. But
simulator.
that golf though, man, is some fucking dog shit in that GTA 5, bro.
Well, but again, so this is what I'm saying. Remember when that came out in 2013? That's
2013?
how. Right. Like that was so impressive for the time. Like we still play that game now because they remade it, numerous fucking times. But you got to go back to when it came out. That's some impressive shit.
Well, I bought it day one.
But are you
PS3?
But are you
I
sure?
still think it's dog shit.
Now, for me, now you asked
Well,
the
that's
question.
the real engine. But yeah.
Yeah, the fucking go on.
No, I was gonna say music. Let me ask a question. So first, I think you enjoy the freedom of it. And that's the reason why I enjoy the Bethesda games like Skyrim and Fallout. The complete freedom, run around, do whatever in the hell you want. But Armadeus, how old were you when you played GTA 5 that you love?
How old was I?
Yeah, how old were
I
you?
mean, that's like what,
He
just
was
the
like
last
20,
decade. So I
so he was like 25, right?
No, I was like 27 because I had to go to India. That shit fucked me up. I had to go to India like 2 days after that game came out. I was like,
Oh no!
But,
Wait.
late
Are you military?
No,
Okay. Are you Indian?
no. I'm just a person with a. Yeah, I get to travel, but
I would be
yeah.
so
So like
scared.
that.
I would be so scared to go to another country, man. I would be
That's
terrified.
no, that's pretty. Listen, trust me. If you're up there, you would be like a goddamn celebrity over there. Let's just put it that way. You would be a celebrity. But yeah, I was in my late late 20s, early 30s almost.
Yeah, I'm 30. I'm going to be 37 March of next year. So I think we're all around roughly the same age.
Yeah, I'm 36,
So
so I got you.
yeah, it's like for me, I played a lot of.
You guys are some old ass motherfuckers.
No, you're just still.
You gonna get there. Remember that.
Hey, man, getting older is a privilege, man. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Facts on facts.
Well, what about your back though, and your knees?
Oh, my bag's good, man. Like,
Yeah, what
good.
about your
Deadlifts,
back?
brother.
Wait, Ken. I thought you had problems with your back being a 26-year-old. What happened to that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can still river dance, nigga. I ain't not broke my toes, back, or legs.
Man, thanks for putting that mental image in my head, you prick.
What, river dance? I took 5 years of
I
river
just
dancing.
fucking now see a whole new light of you, Josh.
I took 5 years of river dancing, yo.
Wow.
No,
All right. I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that, sir.
That's a lie. I didn't do that. I'm sorry. Anyway, so basically,
Fucking prick.
I do like the freedom. Grand Theft Auto to me, I don't like when games try too many things and just be a jack of all trades. That's not a big thing of mine. But my problem with GTA 5 is the Euphoria engine. It's too problematic. It's too problematic, and it adds a lot of latency to the controls and too much weight to the controls. To me, you just want to hop into a car and just dip. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to add more physics to the game, fine. And then on top of it, the story, I didn't like the story. I just didn't. I didn't like the story. Now I feel like what they should have done in terms of gameplay, because I used to program, right? A lot of the stuff for the AI should have been very apparent, like super, super apparent. You know what I mean? When you play GTA 3 is my favorite GTA. When you play GTA 3, right? You had the NPCs all had their attributes. You had the thieves that would pickpocket or steal your car. You had the old people that would easily fall over. You had the aggressive NPCs, and they just threw them into the level. And what ended up happening is if the pickpocket fuck with an aggressive person, then they would start a fight. Then that fight would lead to the ambulance, and the ambulance would do this, and then that's the cop, and it just would do its own thing, which made the world feel alive. They had that in GTA 5, but it was so subtle. It was just like everywhere you go. You know what I mean? They scaled it down. To me, if they would have just made that so apparent, I would have loved it a lot more.
that was one of the reasons why I fell in love with GTA 4, man, because there were moments where when you go AFK in that game, you sit there and you watch all the pedestrians and fucking so on and so forth and that kind of shit. You'll be surprised on the random fucking shit that you'll see happen. Like I've seen a taxi cab get robbed, and then the taxi cab driver goes off, pulls out a gun, kills the motherfucker, and gets back in his car and leaves. Like, dude, shit like that, man. Like that's the kind of shit that I love seeing because it cracks me up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what made the
like.
GTAs feel alive. Is because of the AI. To be honest,
I disagree. I think that's what made the GTAs seem different. They all were different. They all presented something so different from the last game that you could always go back to like one game that you prefer over the rest, but they're never samey. That's actually, I think, the brilliance of GTA is that they're not samey. Like the reason why I think Sleeping Dogs never really caught on or resonated with most people isn't because they became too cartoony. It's just they just ran out of ambition because they kept trying to build on the same without necessarily inventing anything new from game to game. So it just kept getting sillier and sillier because that's all you saw. Whereas with GTA,
that was a one-trick pump. That was a one-trick pony.
Right, but like with GTA, it's like GTA, Vice City. It's nothing like San Andreas, even though it has the same conceits and the same gameplay mechanics. San Andreas, nothing like.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm saying that the AI makes the game feel alive. That's what I'm saying in all of the GTAs. I just wanted to be more apparent in the newer ones. To me, it was too subtle, but it was still there. But like the personalities, like when they made it more realistic, it became more subtle. And like you have ridiculous people in GTAs. Like let's take GTA 3 for instance, one of my favorite. You had that fucking dude, the pervert. My mother's my sister. Like first of all, that's not even possible. But you had people saying stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? And they would just say the most ridiculous things in there. And it just gave the game a lot of personality. Plus, the AI would really interact with each other, and it was amazing in that regard. And I liked it. I liked how they did it, but when they started to make it go into like a more realistic state, it just kind of took away from it. Now, moving away from GTA, just to keep things here, I want to ask. You already told your game, so like, what other games are your favorites from the last three generations? Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to answer it hands down. It's never going to change. It's Max Payne 3. Which uses the Euphoria engine.
Ain't that a bitch?
You know what, man? I actually never played Max Payne 3, but I actually wanted to go back and play it because it looks pretty fucking awesome, man.
It's about to get re-released on backwards compatibility on Xbox.
Yeah, Max Payne is just. So let's give you a backstory real quick, right? When I was playing Max Payne 1 and 2, I was like early in college. And Max Payne 1, I think I finished that game just before 9/11, like a week before 9/11. So after that, 9/11, everything happens. We all different, right? And, I travel, all that crap. And to come back to like Max Payne 3, years removed from ever playing those games again, and I'm an older man, like I've seen the world, whatever. Max Payne as a character, as he became, or as you got to know him to be in 3, was so dissimilar to who he was in the previous games. It resonated with me like who I am. I was like, holy shit, like this is not real. Like I can't have a character in a goddamn video game that kind of like his arc of who he was and who he is where it is in the story. But I played that game 22 times. I've never done some shit like that before for a video game. I played it 22 times because I kept replaying the game. I would restart the game when I thought I got somewhere close to the ending because I didn't want it to end. Like the gameplay, the theatrics, the mechanics and technical aspects. Max Payne is just like it just shits on games that occur today. Like the bullet damage, the inertia of like your character, the way he carries it. Yeah, Don't get me started on Max Payne, but yeah, that's my favorite game.
Yo, don't forget, guys, to follow. If you haven't followed before, follow the channel, Culture of PlayStation. We do this every Thursday for about 2 hours or so. Kim, what is
Yeah,
your
I just shot both of you guys a follow.
I saw that. I'm not on my phone. I just went on my phone and did it. You Silk, right?
Yeah, Silky.
Yep. What about you, Kim? What's your favorite game of all time?
I always get stumped with these your favorite thing of all time, man. I don't know, man. I don't really.
It's just an indecisive bitch.
um, I don't know, man. I would probably say something like Zelda: Ocarina of Time. One of my
Okay.
favorite games of all time.
Now the reason why I say this is it as good as you remember it?
Oh
Did you
man,
try?
that's a good question.
Did you try playing that again?
Yeah, man. I played that game a lot, man. Shit ton of times. Um, and I would say that no, it's not exactly what I remember. You know, um,
I appreciate that. That's very. Some people don't want to admit to that shit, yo. But yeah, that's ballsy.
it's weird though because when I go back and play it, I can still kind of like feel some of the same magic that I did when I played it before. You know, it's like certain things in the game just didn't like. I guess they didn't hit like they did before. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I would like when I discovered some of the fairy fountains and shit like that, for the first
Yo,
time. It just
today, if they would have released that shit, yo, fairy fountains, yeah, they would have been canceled, yo. Canceled.
well, it's just that, when I did it, right, at the
I'm just
time
fucking with
it
you
was
guys.
yeah, I know. I mean, I remember at the time, man, it, I don't remember ever using like a strategy guide or anything like that, and obviously at the time, YouTube wasn't around, so I, you would just kind of like this, what you call it, explore and shit like that, and then you would notice shit like that didn't, look right in the environment, so you would try it out, and then, like I said, you would discover, and you're like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome, right? But I remember at the time, man, it just looked, everything just looked so grandiose. You know what I'm saying? Everything, like the whole world just felt like big and like grand and shit like that, right? And when I went back and played it, um, it, the game was a lot smaller than I remember. So, you know,
That's what your ex girlfriend said about you.
I know, right?
Ooh,
But
it's a lot smaller than I remember.
And
It's-
I'll answer the question as well. For me, my favorite game of all time is actually tied between two different games. Diablo 2, so I'm living in heaven right now, playing that all the time, and also Division 1. So I enjoy the randomness. I enjoy first time experiences and stuff. So yeah, that's for me.
So
why
like,
why Diablo?
Diablo. Have you played Diablo 2?
A little bit, but a long time
Every
ago.
every single item in the game is completely random. So for me, it's a competitive thing with my friends. Like, hey, check out my build. Do you have this weapon? Here's my armor set. Here's my damage. That whole thing, and then we can also play together and play against each other. So there's a ton to do in a game. Like even after you beat it the first time, you have to go through and beat it on Nightmare, then on Hell mode, and then after that, like you
right.
reach the end game. So there's a lot to it, man. If you haven't played it, I say get Diablo 2 Resurrected and give it a try. The game also looks great. So, but and then also Division 1 was a masterpiece to me. I know it had a lot of faults, but
The
Division 1.
heartbreak. Yeah, so actually, that's actually what got me back into console gaming was the Division. I was like, oh, what the hell is that? I need to
Ooh,
play that.
I got something to ask you.
Yeah,
I got
man.
something to ask you too.
Like your first time extracting a dope item, you trying to hide from five people. That was a new experience. Like no other game has ever done that.
Right.
Like
So let me ask you.
it,
So let me ask you this, Silky. Is it as good as you remembered it?
yeah,
Or are
it
you
is.
just giving it
No,
just
no,
that extra?
I'm not romanticizing it at all. Like I hate Division 2. Like I hate it. But I from time to time I still go back and play Division 1 just to run around kill people in the dark zone. And Diablo 2, I'm on it every chance I get.
See,
Hmm.
I had the asked myself that question recently with the Mass Effect trilogy, which I forgot to mention earlier too. Because I just think like Mass Effect 2 is one of like the greatest games ever, and I'm like, like,
Is it though? No, right.
yeah, but the thing is, it's like you can't really watch the same show twice and have the same, wow factor. So it's
Yeah.
like, is it because I've gone through that experience and subconsciously, I know what's gonna happen, or is it just, I was so enthralled with it the first time? It's like, the first time you ever, you get your tip wet. It's like, oh damn, this is
You
it.
mind if I answer that question?
Yeah, sure.
Wait. About getting somebody tip wet. Hold on.
Hey,
We don't do that here. Nah, man, we don't do that. Like, go ahead. Go on, please.
No, but so I think it is the first time experience. If you think about all the games of the game of the year last generation, like you get God of War, you get for Horizon Forbidden West, you get
Boy.
what is it like? And what it is because that's the first time you've experienced it. That's why with the new God of War trailer, people are like, "Oh, it looks cool." But if this new God of War if God of War 18 never existed, this new God of War would be earth shattering.
It would.
So
It would. But you know what? I'm gonna go next, right? And
yeah.
tell you what my two favorite games of all time is.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm gonna start off with I'm an adventure gamer. I can't help it. I can't help it. Anything with exploring, and if you have good mechanics, it's just tops. But you got a little bit of it before. Tomb Raider 3 is old school PS1. You know what I mean? Big ass titty Lara Croft. That one, and not because of the titties either. I
The
really like the game.
triangles.
No.
It was partly because of the titties.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was
They
about to
fixed
say,
it.
don't you fucking lie, Josh.
No,
Don't you
no.
fucking lie.
Hey, it could be the shorts.
It was. It was.
It was a little bit of both.
There was a little bit of
The
both.
shorts.
She had a
The
booty.
shorts.
She had that SpongeBob.
Bruh.
No, she did.
Nah, bro.
No, I'm about to.
Nah, bro.
Don't do that to her. Don't do that to her. Anyway, so the reason why I like the Tomb Raider series is because the expertly crafted level design. I mean, back in the day when they designed the level, it was way more than just making something that looked nice. It was like they had a story behind something. If you seen like a pillar that was on the ground, they made a story as to why it fell on the ground. You know what I mean? Thousands of years ago. So all that shit was curated and just nicely put into the game. But more importantly was that I'm a graphics whore or technology whore. And I like to see technology exploited. I don't want to get a PC because PCs are never exploited. It's
Josh,
just funny because
you're just
I'm
a
a.
whore in general.
This is true, but the thing is, like what but the back in the day, they would make a game and they would have a story, and then every move set that you had a purpose. There was no move that you kind of didn't use. You know what I'm saying? You use everything to your fullest ability. In terms of the PC remark that I just made, those PCs are just not completely like utilized. And because of my programming background, it's like putting the puzzle pieces together. You know what I'm saying? You get this one fixed architecture, and you just kind of have to figure it out. Like, what can it do? What can it do? And you make a game based off it. This is one of the reasons why we have games nowadays because of the limitations on console, and I respect that. But going back to Tomb Raider, the animations were outrageous to me back then. She had so many ways of dying, and they all involved the puzzles and stuff like that. It was just amazing. The storyline wasn't any slouch either. It just wasn't in the forefront. But the puzzles were great. There were some things that the developer would do to troll you. Like if you were rushing in the game and you didn't kind of look around and kind of just take precaution, you get your shit split open. Like you get fucked up by something. But if you took your time, they didn't cheat you. You know what I mean? If you took your time, you can always get them. It was just nice. I just liked the way that it felt. I liked the flips and the animations. I wanted to be an animator because of that game back in the day. So the second game that I liked a lot, this is like my favorite game of all time, is Shadow of the Colossus. Just across the board, the animations. Like I don't know if you guys shut up. I don't know if you guys ever played Shadow of the Colossus, but there was a third Colossus. And it was this big ass dude with a club for an arm, and its animation was, I mean, it was just so menacing. It was really cool. Like the actual Colossus they were puzzles that you had to solve to take it down. The level design was intriguing. You don't know what happened. No one was there. There was no skeletons anywhere. You're like, what the fuck happened in this world? There's birds, but I don't know what's happening here. You know what I mean? So it just had a really provocative story, provocative environments, great animation. Everything in the world serves its purpose. The same thing with Tomb Raider, and that's my two favorite games of all time. Is it exactly what I think it is? Wait. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I got hold on, I got disconnected. My bad. Somebody was asking me something, I couldn't hear them.
No, that was my bad. I was receiving a phone call.
Yo, you know what, man? I just thought of another game that I don't even know how I just thought of another game.
Damn, I'm really serious.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Fuck.
To answer the question, do I remember it as do I remember it like that? Shadow Colossus, yeah, because they redid that game and people can still play it. Tomb Raider, there's a lot of hurdles to go over, but a lot of the charm is still there. That's
trash you're talking about.
Shut your ass up. Go on, Ken.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, man. One of my favorite games of all time. I don't even know how I even forgot about this shit. Was Uncharted 2. I just, bro. When I first experienced that game for the first time, man, it was like I had never experienced a game like that before, man. You know. I mean, at least the way that they presented the game. You know, it just hit for me, man. You know, all of the characters, they were just all fucking intriguing and endearing. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they presented all of the set pieces, and I know the gameplay, I mean, as far as like the shooting mechanics and stuff like that was pretty standard. But I remember like one of the things that really got me with that game was the fact that you could fucking drop kick people, bro. I'd never drop kick somebody in a game. I was like, when I drop kick somebody, which I know you could do it in the first game, but Uncharted 2 was, you know, obviously better than the first one. But when I played the Uncharted 2, bro, oh, dude, Uncharted 2 was way better than the first one, man. In almost every way, man. You can't really deny that.
He's a
You know
liar.
what I'm saying? But the fucking dude, when I drop kick somebody, dude, I was sold, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait, let me say this really quickly. Jerk chicken, yo, what's good, my homie? You back? Is he a speaker?
Nah, he's just listening.
Oh, damn.
Groovy damn.
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, honestly, let me see, cause I just suck at name. Is it Amadeus? Amadeus?
Yeah, what's up?
You said that one of the reasons why you were a PC gamer. I mean, one of the reasons why you wanted to play on consoles for some reason. So I take it that you were a PC gamer at one point.
Yeah, like I spent most of my 20s playing on PCs. Basically, I went to college. I saw someone playing. I want to say it was the first Fallout, so the isometric game, and then I think I played Diablo 1. I was like, oh, like yeah, this is that shit right here. Like, so I didn't play any of the PC. The PS2 era. I had to play those games like either later or if I wanted to, one of my roommates' place or something like that. But yeah, I was playing for PC for a while.
Okay, so what made you a PC gamer at the time? Like what allured you to being a PC gamer?
It was it was more mature. It was like this. It was sophisticated. You didn't even have access to the games that you could play on PC. Like when I started playing, what really sold like the oh damn, I'm never going back to that trash ever again, was after you played Tenchu and Metal Gear Solid, right? Great games, love them. If you play a game like Deus Ex and Thief, you almost like so back at the time that those games were released.
Don't forget System Shock as well. That was in that same time period.
So this is what I was gonna say. I was gonna skip System Shock and go to Half-Life. It's like for the time that those games were released. Like I mean, it's different now because after the fact. But for the times those games were released, it's like the elements that you got in a Metal Gear Solid. Once you actually experience Thief, I was like, well, wait, like damn. Or you played Splinter Cell, like Splinter Cell 3 or so, it's like Chaos Theory. It's like, oh man, like, yeah, that's some kiddie shit over there. Like it was just like a completely different experience. And the game that really solidified it, that all that for me was Unreal Tournament. I want to say 2004.
Yeah, buddy.
That was just like, oh yeah, this is some big boy shit.
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
This is some big boy shit. This is the game.
Yeah.
When your friends tell you about when your friends tell you about what they play on a PS, like, bro, that shit trash. Like you really it wasn't because again you're not there's no clicks really, but just in your your everyday language, you felt more superior because you knew you had like this gold that once they got a little hit of, it's over. Like you gonna basically big brother them because they don't know no better, and so you gotta show them the way. It's like this is the righteous land. Like it's like Moses leading his people. Like y'all been led astray. I'm gonna show you what's this good is right here. Yeah, I mean you play the game like Fear, right? You don't like again. I think Fear only came out for the PC, if I'm not mistaken. There was nothing like that on consoles at all. I mean, you go to when you play you go to Half-Life 2, you go to Ravenholm, you want to talk about a game that like, oh shit, like you're playing a game, but you're so immersed in that world that coming from what like Half-Life said, I don't know if you played it or if you're familiar with it, but Half-Life presents itself as like a science fiction game. And then you go into this town and it's like a straight up horror game. And you're like, holy, like you want to tell people about this because it's like you can't believe it's like this experience that you just have to share with people. That despite the fact that consoles at the time were always popular, it was like PC was like this segment of like like the nerds, but like the nerds who they had that shit. It's like, yeah, all right, I'm a nerd, all right, cool. You a nerd too, but you know what I'm saying, you want some kiddie shit. I'm where the big boys play.
Nah, yeah.
So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, you made me a really fucking happy person, man. Let me tell you. Because I've been trying to echo this shit now for the longest fucking time, bro. For the longest time. PC had its moment in clarity, dude. With like when consoles was in its prime and that's all everybody was talking about, like in like playgrounds and shit when you were growing up, PC was that back burner, dude, that you get experiences that you would never fucking see on consoles, bro. Never see.
Right, because you have to remember when Duke Nukem came out, which was like, I mean, clearly it was PC only. That was like making national news.
Yeah,
It
you know what's crazy
went on
though?
PlayStation 2.
You know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy though too as well is that Duke Nukem originally started off as a side scroller, man. Apogee.
That's right. Yeah,
Apogee,
that's right.
Apogee, Sierra Online, like even Sierra Online to me, they were fucking what I would consider. Like they made banger after banger after banger, man. As far as every game they to this day, SWAT 4 is still my most beloved game on PC to this day, man. And Ready or Not's getting ready to come out, and those are the people that made SWAT 4. Bro, that's the only game right now that I would actually fucking invest money to build myself a rig just so I could play that motherfucker.
Okay, so Music Plus, right? Here, I'm gonna give you a perfect example of a game that, again, that first era, when you played it, you had to tell your friends who were all consoles. Well, Soldiers of Fortune.
Oh God, yeah. You remember Soldier of Fortune 2 where it came when the game booted up? It will ask you if you wanted the actual fucking install the graphics version, not from a
Exactly.
graphical standpoint, from a mature
Exactly.
standpoint, or the
Right.
or the actual censored version. Yeah, that shit was
Right.
fucking brutal, dude. Brutal.
Like, you don't have those animations in games today.
Nope.
I don't understand that. Like, back then,
Fucking thing that he has, they like literally freaking shoot at somebody's head and see their head get stuck to the wall or a tree or a branch or some shit. Like it was shit like that on the PC side, man. You couldn't see on the console side. Therein lies the problem. Now that PC is so big now, and it's so in the spotlight, dude, and like everybody talks about it alongside consoles now, which is now part of the conversation. My issue with PC modern-wise, is that a lot of those games that we once had sit on the back burner now. Like now you have to go digging for a lot of that shit. It's not in the fucking front lines, man. Like back in the day, when you knew like if you're gaming on PC, like the both of us here were, you knew about Half-Life 2 because that game was on everyone's fucking lips. Everyone's fucking lips.
Can I ask a question then?
not to mention Ring
console?
Commander.
Can I ask a question from a console's perspective then right now? Then why is it now that it seems to me that PC gamers want to play console games? If this is what PC games were, I don't see nobody on the PlayStation side wanting to play shit from PC, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I see, no disrespect to you, my brother, I see PC cocksuckers begging, can I play The Last of Us, please?
Oh, dude, I'm not even a PC gamer anymore. I got out of that years ago, dude. Years ago.
I got you. I know.
PC was going, yeah. But no, you're right though. You're right because that's the thing. Like, anytime when like it was rare when you saw a PC game go to consoles, but it was also not really common to see console games go to PC. And when console games went to PC, no one bought that shit. No one gave a shit for that.
Exactly.
Even when Microsoft was hauling ass and trying to do that shit for like over the last fucking 2 decades, to put their shit on PC, nobody wants it. Now everybody wants that shit on PC.
Okay, well, I could explain that to some extent, and I think it has a lot to do with Cliff Bleszinski and Gears of War. Gears of War is a game that kind of changed the narrative of PC gamers have the absolute best experiences, and consoles is pure trash. We ain't gonna touch it again.
I don't even know if that's even true though, because they did release the first fucking Gears game on PC. Nobody bought that shit.
But remember, it came like a while. I think it came almost a year after.
Yeah, it was a year after, but even still, but like even Halo 1 and 2 were on PC. A lot of people don't even realize that shit. Those 2 games were on PC.
Those were Apple games, actually. I don't know that.
No, that's what I'm saying. But they also came out with the Windows version. Like Halo 1 was not tied to like Windows fucking games for Windows Live kind of shit. Halo 2 was. That's the reason why nobody wanted it. Microsoft has desperately tried so many times. Like people forget that. Like Viva Pinata was on PC. You know what I'm saying? And, like even to this day, I tell people like, yeah, Viva Pinata was on PC. Yeah, motherfucker. Like this isn't the first time when like I've always been an advocate for Microsoft to put their games on PC because it makes sense. It makes too much fucking sense. And they tried, but they failed every time. This time around, what they had to do is they had to build it within the Windows ecosystem itself in order for that to actually be recognition. And it fucking paid off for them. It paid off for them.
Because it seems to me that technology-wise, a PC and a console are not that far apart. But here's the thing. I think what it is that the talent, and this is something, once again, I'm not trying to speak against PC gaming. I think PC gaming great, like everybody's game is great. I just think those great games now all stem from the console. I'm being honest. Because to be frank with you, PC is like the minor leagues. People make the money on the console. That's just facts. And all that talent, all that creativity flow to where people were making the most money, which right now is console, and to this day, outside of mobile, it's console. PC makes a lot of money, but not much as money as console does. And it's like when I never played on PC, but what went me back, because I was done with gaming when I was younger, And I say what made me go back into gaming was Resident Evil 1, Tomb Raider on PlayStation 1. I never experienced it because before then it was Mario Brothers, a 2D side scroller, characters
So you
didn't
never played
talk.
Alone in the Dark? You never played Alone in the Dark
No,
because that
never, no.
predates. Okay, I was gonna
Oh
say because
wow.
that
Hell
See the
yeah.
predates
game,
Resident Evil. So
yeah, the game that got me back into console gaming, me and my little brother, this been years ago, we went to KB toy stores and we got the PlayStation, we got Resident Evil, we got Tekken. And when I played that shit, I was like,
nice picks, nice
yo,
picks.
I was like, no more regular Street Fighter with the one fireball. These guys are throwing combos, countering all this good stuff, right? And then Resident Evil Tomb Raider came out, and there was so many games in between that I'm not even mentioning that I played that made me a gamer more than I was back in the time of Nintendo. And to me, honestly, the one thing about Nintendo which makes them time is their games haven't really changed. But gaming as a whole, either on PC or console in general, have changed, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, a prime example of that would be like some of the developers that Microsoft recently picked up that were only forever on PC/Mac. Like if you look at a studio like InXile, right? Like this was the first time. Fucking well, they did it during like the middle of the PS4's language before they got bought out, but like they never released shit on consoles. Period. They've only ever been a fucking PC-centric developer, right? And that's where Bard's Tale fucking spawned from. That's where Wasteland spawned from, which also helped fucking birth fucking Fallout, by the way. But on top of that, though, too, as well, now that Microsoft owns them, like even before that, sorry, I should say, fucking like Wasteland 2 came to consoles. That got slept on. Wasteland 3 comes out fucking last year. Fucking amazing game. People won't play it because of how it looks and how it plays. You know what I mean? Which to me kind of sucks, but I mean, like I said, fucking Microsoft's going to focus mainly on the PC side. Fucking snag up developers that mainly do PC shit. That's exactly what they've been doing. Obsidian. Most people, when you ask people like nowadays, like, yo, what Obsidian games did you play? I played New Vegas. Cool. Did you play
New
fucking
Vegas.
Stick of Truth, South Park?
Looking
Well,
at
you hate that?
All I
think-
ever played was New Vegas and that other Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
being
next
honest.
I have a
door, too,
question.
yeah.
Oh
That's
wow.
it.
I have a question. Would you guys agree that PC fans care way more so have their own audience? Like they don't care about
Yeah, that's true.
third-party games with action adventure stuff like that. Like they're way more focused on RTSs and modding and games like Fallout and stuff like that.
I will answer this. I will answer this only due to the fact that we're about to end the show or whatever. But there's a couple of things I want you guys to say. Only due to the fact that I mean, I like to keep it about 2 hours. But to answer your question, what I believe, I think PC, consoles, and phones, all of them are different demographics. There's a meta game when building a PC and in finding the right stats and menus and settings for a game. That's another meta game. It's like a puzzle to put that together. And most people console people don't really care about that, but they do. And in terms of the games that they play, it's not that PC gamers don't play games, they do.
No, I never said that.
No,
I
I know,
never said they don't.
I know.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, sorry.
I wanted to get that out there.
Gotcha.
What do they care about? I mean, they have their own games. Well, let me ask you this, because I think I end up getting lost. Your original question?
My original question is: would you agree that PC gamers don't care about PlayStation games like that? Like they have their own, like PC got their own audience with RTS games like Fallout and stuff like that that you can mod. They focus on that way more than a game like, for example, The Last of Us. Like for me, Last of Us is a game that I see as peak gaming, but for them, they would not even bat an eye for a game like The Last of Us or Horizon Zero Dawn, for example.
Can I say something to what he's saying right quick? This is what you got to realize. A lot of these so-called new school PC gamers are not real PC gamers. What they are PlayStation.
You cut off. Can you repeat?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, what they are they're not real PC gamers. What they are ex-PlayStation, Xbox guys who wanted to get their games on PC because they have been told for so long the PC gives you the best experience. Notice that before these guys so-called crossed over into PC gaming, I think people call them centaurs, right? They call us Pegasus over here in the Ponyland now, right? Those guys they were PlayStation or Xbox guys. The people that first made this big jump to PC, if you paid attention, was the Xbox One people who did not like how Xbox started out, right? These started the calls for the whole generation. Put Xbox games on PC. Now we have the same thing going on with the PlayStation community, where these people are coming out of the woodwork. Put these games on PC to sell more. Now, what shocked me was because I'm a
That's
big fan of
bullshit.
Hard Eight.
Because we just
Wait.
found that.
I know. I wait. I'm gonna tell you. Hard Eight did the numbers of what PC guys did with those PlayStation games came over. If you compare it to what PlayStation guys did with their games to what PC guys did with those games, it was minuscule. I mean, some of them played at 33 seconds, 40, because you could track this shit. And they didn't play these games because the fan base of PC gamers have their like. Look, I see these trailers for PC games. Like, man, this looks amazing. Then I see the actual game, and it's some three-dimensional isometrical garbage. Now that's to me.
And that's what I was saying. Each area, I mean, each sector of gaming have their own thing that they care about. The people that you're referring to, or I mean, they're a very loud minority.
So
And this is what I wanted to say about that too, because people are questioning why is Sony putting their games out, and I'm gonna say it every time I get a chance. I want you guys to understand this. Any kind of Pegasus or ponies or fanboys in general, whatever you want to call yourself, that is on the PlayStation side, recognize Gran Turismo 7 will come out to PC, and the rest of these big games will as well.
Fact.
Now, the reason why I say this is because of the market and where it is now. If you're a fan of King Thrash Gaming, he touched up on this as well, and he has his own delivery on how to put these put this information out there. I have my own. The bottom line is this: there's a massive chip shortage, and Sony, and they just released this now. They had to scale back a little on the amount of consoles they were going to actually be able to sell.
Yeah,
The reason why is because of the fucking chips, and they can't make enough of these PS5s, which means that if there's not a lot of PS5s in hand, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get these next generation experiences. All you're going to get is cross-gen, so they can recoup on the money. It is imperative that they are able to put these games out so that somebody will buy them. If you don't have the console to do so, then you have to stick with a cross-gen or something else. And the statistics for PC gaming is very clear. PC gamers play a very specific game, just like cell phone people play very specific games. What Sony is banking on is that maybe there's a chance that I'll get you to play these types of games because it's an untapped market for those types of games. Now, people can say, oh, Assassin's Creed is like that too. Assassin's Creed is not Horizon Forbidden West at all.
I put it out there. I say this, brother. Ghost of Tsushima was the most Assassin's Creed game that released last year. That was the most Assassin's Creed game that came out in a long time, and that wasn't even Assassin's Creed. But let me say this one thing, and then I'm gonna stop talking. When you talk about the chip shortage, right? I'm gonna buy a television for Christmas, right? If I would have bought a TV last year for the Christmas time, those same TVs, which were like $399, are now $600. That tells you how bad that chip shortage is. Even General Motors had to stop the production lines of car companies. Television companies are doing the same things. If you go to any store, electronic wise especially, even if you go beyond electronics, even food, everything is more expensive. If it's more expensive for us to purchase said items like a PlayStation, if you go in the store, if you see the prices now of the PlayStation in some places, it's $799. That's not. I'm not talking about resale. I'm talking about in the store. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. PlayStation is $799 in stores.
In some places, you will have to pay $799.
Yeah, in some markets.
Now, there's a reason
and
why.
Are you talking about it in bundle or?
No.
No.
The console. Now, the reason why it is, you got to understand this. And people are like, well, I'm the consumer. I'm the consumer. I don't give a fuck about what these companies are doing. I don't care what they do. I don't care. Well, it is
Nah,
going to affect you at some point.
yeah, like that's why I care. So a little bit about me. I used to just play games, not give a fuck about everything else in between. But if you're a gamer, you really can't do that right now anymore, cause everything affects us, whether we want to admit it or not. And like what they're doing now with PlayStation putting the games on PC, they literally doing what Microsoft did, devaluing their own console. No, devaluing their own platform. And we've
That's a
seen it.
different. It's a difference, though, my
Yeah, it's a
friend.
little different there.
The truth is, the matter is, as much as I am a Pegasus brother to the heart, I have to admit that those games will sell on PC, not as much as they will on PlayStation, because the fan base is there. Now, let me say this, and then I will stop talking permanently, and I'll go back to listening. Where the fan base of something is where it's going to sell the most at. But what they're looking at is like, okay, if I only sell 700,000 on PC, that's still a profit. But to
Mhm.
me, honestly, I also think that is a danger
Even
to
if
Sony.
you, but a question, even
Go ahead.
if your, even if your fan base, a quote unquote fan base, that going from buying the next PlayStation to actually buying a PC and disregarding the a PlayStation now, you just lost a customer.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what
That
no, but
I'm saying.
that's not what's going on though. Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's really not.
There's very little overlap
Hmm.
in each market. What Sony is hoping to do is have the people that haven't experienced those type of games experience those type of games. The console people are already won over. The console people are
Exactly.
not fucking with the drivers or different GPUs or even pre-made computers. They don't have time for that shit. People are
I'll give you
lazy.
I'll give you an example. Next year, right, starting early next year, you got Elden Ring, you got Horizon, you got a bunch of games in that first couple of months next year. Ain't nobody buying that shit on PC. We all buying that on console in this room. I'm speaking for
yep,
myself personally. Everybody's buying it on console.
It's
Next year,
easier.
same.
Sony is going to have an amazing year next year. I hope and pray Final Fantasy 16 come out next year as well, right? But
Yeah,
even if it does, you still got God of War Horizon mixed in there right there already. You're gonna have a lot of, but you're still gonna have a growth in the PC industry because, like my boy here said, people have been spitting to some of these console boys here for a minute. You can get the very best experience. I don't think that's true. I think what it is when it comes to PC games, if you were always a PC gamer, those games from Xbox and PlayStation don't mean a damn thing to you. Only people I ever hear talking about, I want to play this game from Nintendo on PC, or this game for PlayStation on PC, or this game for Microsoft on PC, they were already console gamers. They just moved over to that other ecosystem where they feel like they can get everything on one plate. That's all it is.
And lastly, what they understand is that the type of demographic that is on PC is an ever running demographic. They are all ever chasing demographic. They are always chasing the next best thing. It's just to eke out a frame or two or a slightly clearer texture or whatever the case is. That is expensive.
Yeah,
And
so
if you
that's
are
actually the. Sorry.
go on.
No, I was gonna say that's the literal reason why I stopped playing on PC. Because it was my OCD. Like I would be up, I would literally be up to like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to find some goddamn file to like edit, so I can like start messing around with settings and increasing things, like from a text file. And I'm like, I haven't even played the game yet. Like I
PC
spent more.
people,
Now I want to say one last thing, bro. Here's another thing that we're not realizing though. What if it's an opposite effect happens, right? All these PC gamers finally get access to PlayStation games they never played or never heard of, right? They start saying, wait a minute. I've been sitting up here paying thousands of dollars for shit that look like trash to me, and these guys been paying $500 for a console, and they shit is better. What am I doing with my money? Like my boy just down here just said, you've been trying to find drivers to eke out an extra frame, an extra little bit of textures. If you want to be honest, I've seen some of those so-called amazing PC games. Some of that shit don't look better than PlayStation exclusives to me.
So here's the deal with that. That's great that you mentioned this. That's actually what Xbox is banking on. they actually want to make all those ecosystems. Sorry, they want to make those different markets and make them into just one ecosystem. That's
But we
why.
all know.
But let me just finish this, right? The reason what you just said just now, you said you look at some PC games and they look just as good. There's a reason for that, because part of their contract is if this title has to be released on our platform or our competitor's platform, you have to make it look as good at for them as it does for us. Now that means, as we all know, they're basically making a game for the least powerful machine. Despite the fact that we all know video games are just like there's no reason why you have to still choose between performance mode and quality mode. Because how do you? Oh, it's right, it's a console. On the PC, it's limitless. It's just limitless. So that's actually one of the reasons why games now have that samey looking, that quality to them, is because that's, this backroom dealings of like, hey, you can't make this game graphically superior because we still need to sell units. We need to push units, and like
You will
that's how come
always
you have
be.
games with Microsoft, for example. Sorry,
Hold on.
sorry.
So would it
Continue,
not
continue.
make more sense to? What do you mean it can't make it superior in sense of one console is gonna be equal? Like we've seen one console doing more FPS and the other having more fidelity. Like, is there a clear difference
But
between the
it's
two?
well, but those differences are minuscule. Like when
There
people
really
start
is
arguing about when people
a
start arguing
frame.
about blades, when you talk about like blades of grass differences, like between a GTA or Red Dead Redemption, that's a minuscule difference. A huge difference would be like ray tracing, which has existed in the PC sector for like years before it came over to consoles. Like those are real visual. Like okay, you could just look at that and objectively say, well, that picture at least looks. It may not look real or anything, but it's superior looking in terms of its presentation. That was like the real hard differences. Now with games becoming again, homogenized to so many different degrees, they're incentivized to continue to have a same look of uniformity because they don't want those segments to they don't want the PC to be so out far of the consoles. That includes competitors like Nintendo and Sony, because then it accentuates that, and that's not what they want. They want to still have that market. They still want to have their Xbox console market.
So
Be
I'll say.
competitive.
So I'll say this because my boy has to go. I'll say this last bit. What Microsoft is trying to do is to make they don't know any better, but they think that they're able to have one game to go on all these different platforms and everybody will buy them. And it has never been that way. You cannot merge them together. That's like saying a one rule for every country is supposed to be too many different people and too many. It's just too different. We have this thing called diminishing returns where graphics can only get but so much better. That's why it's not that important. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that these people that move from consoles to PC will start to realize. You're going to be like, I just paid like $2,000 for this shit. And all I'm getting is an extra 30 frames over 60. And I'm not really seeing a difference. Or it was already clear as fuck looking when it was 4K. It doesn't, I mean, the screen can only be but so fucking big. You know what I mean? And so many pixels. So that's what I want to say about this. I like to kind of always talk about this anytime I get a chance because I feel like the word needs to be spread. It's too much fan. Like it's fun with the fanboy shit, but some people be taking it a little bit overboard and be spitting out a whole bunch of stupid shit. But just know, and don't be surprised when Sony start releasing their games on PC, more and more of them, like Gran Turismo and stuff like that, and at a shorter time span as well. Day and date, probably not, because they got their own store. It would cannibalize their shit. But maybe a year or at the most 6 months, or at the least 6 months. And I'm just so tired of people being so shocked about it. Oh, how could they do this? They can't make the consoles fast enough, and they need to sell those games. And that's one of the reasons why the games are $70 fucking. It's because where's the fucking money coming from? But Ken, go on and you can end it. Since you want to be a
Yeah.
little baby back bitch.
I mean,
I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
It's your topic,
Just close it out. Just close it out. Just leave it.
Yeah, we've been on here about 2.5 hours. I think it's a good time to end it. Silky man, I see your hand is up. I would say jump in the Discord, man. You know, because we're always in there talking. But we're gonna go ahead and end the show here. But yeah, it was a great show, man. If you guys aren't part of the Discord, man, the link should be at the top. If you haven't seen it already, should be able. I put it up there, so you guys could jump in if you want to do that. And if you haven't followed the Twitter, obviously do that. But yeah,
the Discord is really nice, and we talk in it. So if we can definitely continue the conversation with the Discord. There's some interesting people in there that I think that Silky would probably like to have a word with. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, guys. We're gonna end it here. All right, you guys have a good one.
Take
All
care,
right, have
guys.
a good one. Thanks for hosting a good space, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate it. All right, bye.